Oh, that is a nice copper coin. But oh, Doug, do you know what time it is?
45 up.
Who says 45 of, Doug? It's quarter after. Who says 45 of? Dog tag Doug does. What's up, guys? QuarterHoarder here. Welcome to another quarter after live stream. We've got another super fun guest tonight. You guys all must know him. Merrill from Detecting NYC. Super fun guy. Funny, engaging. I really like him. We've detected with him once or twice before, and you're going to have a lot of fun. Super knowledgeable, too. Before I bring the people in, I'll say a few hellos. I see Amanda Collins, Big Wave Digging Life, Laurie, Lupe Velez. Oh, I hope I got the good accent on that. Patrick Parker, Shane Coles, Eric Thompson, who we'll be digging with in a few weeks. Good to see you, Eric. Digging Virginia, 5 Mile Relic Hunter, who we hung out with in Arkansas. Hot Mess Fishing, our moderator, who we also hung out with in Arkansas. Turd Ferguson, Dirty Paul's Detecting, Sue Ramsey, Rick Rohrig, Mars. I think Mars is Rich's buddy, as I recall. It's been a while. Rich Van Winkle is even in the chat, so I'm glad Rich was able to make it. That was nice of him. But let's bring in some of the gang. We'll start off with none other than Mr. Dog Tag Doug. How are you, Dougie? I can't hear you, Doug. I can't hear Doug. You might have muted your mic, Doug. I can't hear you. All right, while Doug's messing with that, let's try bringing in Charlie, the Heritage Relic Hunter. How are you, Charlie?
I'm doing great. I think you mute him on purpose there, Jason.
No, I didn't mute him. Let me check, because we were just talking in the green room 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
We can't hear you, Doug.
Yeah.
You look handsome, though. Doug, try leaving and coming back in again. All right, he's going to try it. Hopefully, I think he can hear us at least, Charlie.
All right.
So we'll wait for Doug to come back in. If not, we'll just look at his handsome face. You know, who doesn't want to look at Doug's handsome face?
So how are you doing since this past weekend, Saturday? We did a lot of walking Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Saturday was a ton of walking, back in some fields again. We got a good one lined up this weekend, Charlie. I'm excited.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, Rich. No, this coming weekend with you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Rich found some old buildings and structures in there. It's a huge old farm. We did the house earlier this year, had some good success, but I really think the fields are going to be where it's at. I think the house was, the dirt was moved and turned over.
I'm very excited to be there. No,
well, you got the spot, so you're definitely going to be there.
It's only a couple miles from my house. That makes it even nicer.
No, I'm excited. And the guy that lives there is a super nice guy. So we're going to have a whole lot of fun.
Right.
Talking about super nice guy, let's bring in Mr. Richard Van Winkle and Lindiana Jones. How are you guys?
Usually we're after Doug. You caught us off guard.
Yeah. Well, you were kind of after Doug, but I'm waiting to see. Hopefully, Doug, we were having some issues with Doug's laptop the last couple of weeks. So today he was trying it with his tablet for the first time.
Oh.
And before the show, we're all in there checking everything. Everything sounds good. And then as soon as the show starts, he's got no sound.
Of course, right.
But I'm sure he probably has his IT person, aka wife, probably helping right now. So
I was going to say, if she's nearby,
she's in the other room and she'll come in and help. Now she's camera shy, so when I see him pop back in, if I see her, I'll wait until she clears the deck, Charlie.
I heard you guys talking about this weekend. I'm excited.
Yeah, it should be good. I'm excited to even be back on the fields again. We usually find our oldest stuff. When we did the house, Charlie had that killer shoe buckle. We had some old buttons. There was some good stuff. Not as much stuff around the house as I would have thought, but I think the ground was moved.
Yeah.
But in the fields, we should be good.
What's nice about the fields, Jason, the crops are completely off. It's soybean. And it's so smooth. It's going to really be nice swinging.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, it was.
Is there exposed dirt for looking for native stuff?
There's native stuff in the vicinity there. We maybe stumble across some. Yes.
Let's see. Doug is back, Rich. Let's
It's
see
back.
if he's got sound. Let's see if he's got sound.
I should have sound. I'm on
Yes.
my, I'm
There
on
he
my
is.
Yes.
phone.
Hey,
Oh, you're
Doug.
on your phone. Oh,
Yeah, this damn thing is useless. So is my IT person.
well,
You
you
have to look
succeed.
up his nose.
Yeah, that's okay. You? I tell him before every show. I was like, Doug, don't forget to shave your nose. Make it look presentable for the show.
Just overgrow the mustache, and then it doesn't matter. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird, Doug, because in the pre-show it was working, and then as soon as we went live, it stopped working.
No, because every time I try to talk, somebody talked over me, and I kind of suspected that my mic was off, but I checked it and it wasn't muted, so I don't know what was going on.
Yeah,
Maybe the volume was down,
that's possible.
but hey, I'm on.
Oh, you're on. You look good. You look handsome.
Yeah,
We were
sure.
talking about the upcoming weekend while we wait for Merrill. We're going to bring Merrill on in 8 minutes. We just saw him in Arkansas, Doug. I really like him. He's a fun guy. He's a funny guy. And he's deceivingly intelligent, too. Not to say deceivingly like I thought he was an idiot, but like you don't
He's a
realize
school
how
teacher.
intelligent he is until you start speaking with him.
Yeah.
Charlie, I had a question for you. Since I was researching our field for this weekend, it led to up in the hills, all the native Karens that are up there.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know about that? And have you been up there to see them? And
I have not been up there to see them. No, but I kind of heard about it myself already. No.
man, that's
Is
1500 BC.
Is that
Wow.
Yeah.
Is that part of the field?
No, up in the hills there. Everything we always see in the distance.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of American Indian cairns,
Yeah.
stone cairns built.
Oh, I thought you meant there's Karens up there, meaning like there's those, nasty white women. They call them Karens.
Well,
That's what I thought he meant.
they're everywhere, but
Yeah.
the Karens.
How do you spell the Karen you're talking about?
CAIR.
Say that again. Doug overtalked you.
CAIRN.
Oh, CAI. I never heard that word before. That's a Native American term?
It's something like Hamlet.
Well, no.
Oh, is it like a Hamlet?
That's
All right. These big words. Rich, listen, when you have to dumb this show down for me, Rich. Just dumb it down a little bit.
I thought
Oh,
you were a book guy.
yeah, you're the
But
guy.
I don't read books about Native Americans.
You're the guy that uses onomatopoeia.
Yeah.
You don't know what Karens are?
I think you mispronounced that word.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I'll
when
tell you
you
what.
when you make a joke and try to make fun of someone
Yeah,
else
make-
that they're dumb,
Yeah.
you got to pronounce that word.
Make sure it's correct.
Yeah, like you
pronunciation.
got to really be good with that insult.
Well, we'll check with the school teacher when he comes on.
When I bring him in, I'm sure he'll know it. Now, in all fairness, though, I think he teaches business, but
Well-
I'm sure he still has a extensive vocabulary.
Well, we'll
Robert
find out.
Legendre, thank you, Robert, and hopefully I pronounced that word right, Doug. Legendre.
53.
Okay.
And Jay Cook is in there. I think he's on the Facebook feed. He said it's quarter after time. Sushi is unlocked. Doug, do you know what the sushi is unlocked references to?
Yes, that's
Okay.
that's a New York City Merrill deal.
That's right. I'm gonna try to get all the food analogies when I bring Merrill on.
There's different levels, by the way.
Different levels of
Of
excellent
foodstuffs.
fine.
Yes.
We always seem to be at the stale bread level.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's hard to get above
Yeah.
2-day-old stale bread.
Yes.
Talking about stale bread, we just got back from dinner, Doug. Like literally 15 minutes ago, my
I'm
wife
sorry to hear that.
made like last minute plans to go out to dinner. And I was like, oh, hon, it's my live show tonight. She's like, don't worry, we'll be back. So I was like, all right. So I'm like, eating, looking at the clock. And I'm like, oh, man, we're like a half an hour from home.
Mhm.
So at 6 o'clock, I'm like, I got to go at 6 o'clock. And luckily, we were kind of wrapping it up. So we all just kind of ran out of there. But it was a close one, Doug.
I'll bet.
My son got lamb, octopus, and some other weird creature. I don't know what he was doing. He was eating like the strangest animals.
Maybe a
Raccoon.
wallaby.
No, it was an octopus, a lamb, something, and I forget what the other one was. I
Oh,
don't
by the
remember.
way, didn't we want to show that strange creature or the video of the strange creature that passed in front of us on the live stream?
Oh, well, that video didn't come out yet. I'll have something when that video comes out.
Oh, okay. All right.
But no, you're right. You're right. Now that wasn't a crazy strange creature, but it's a creature that we don't see around our parts of the world.
No.
So yeah, Adrian Tucker asked if it was a chupacabra.
No, it's a.
It might have well have been. It might have well been, Doug, because I had never seen one. We slammed on the brakes, Rich, at like whatever time it was, 11 o'clock at night, Doug and I, and just stared at this creature crossing the road.
Well, it's funny. He didn't just cross the road. He went halfway, came back, walked parallel, went across, and it was like no wonder these guys get hit all the time.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, I won't say what it is. Now it's nothing amazing. It's not like we saw Bigfoot, Rich.
I'm
we're
so curious.
It might as
though.
well have been. We don't see him around
we're talking
here.
it up way cooler than what it turned out to be. It's just
Yeah.
interesting because we've never seen one. I'll tell you after the show.
But I was ready if we did see Bigfoot. I had a couple bags of Jack Links with me.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Which trip were you on when you saw this?
The Arkansas.
The mushroom. The mushroom trip.
yeah.
Sorry, I asked.
Doug, that was actually funny.
It was a big caterpillar.
Well, thank you.
Smoking
Thank
a
you.
hookah.
Doug, that was a 5-star joke, Doug.
Yeah.
That was a 5-star joke.
Thank you.
No, that was
Somebody
good.
finally laughed without being
See
paid.
that?
Okay.
It's nice once in a while when we let you turn the volume on.
Yeah.
Yeah, your mic's actually been muted all these times. We haven't told you.
Yeah, every show your
No
mic's
wonder I
muted.
can't get a word in.
Yeah. It just flows good when your mic's muted.
Okay.
I see Smoking Louie is in there. How are you, Smoking Louie? And I saw Great Finds in there, Mike, who is going to be a guest, I think, in 2 weeks. Great Finds. And he's been finding some great finds, Doug. We'll go over that more later, but I'm glad he made it today. And, of course, Clem Fandango. I got to give a shout-out to Clem Fandango. But we got about 1 minute till I bring Merrill in. I can see him dialing himself up. He's trying to look extra handsome. He's doing a good job.
Bring him in early.
Yeah, he's working out. He's trying to get that workout pump going.
Yeah.
So he's working out. I see some barbells in the back.
Do you know that Clem Fandango has a line in a very popular song from back in my day?
I don't know anything about that.
A whiter shade of pale.
Oh yeah.
Is that a real song or is this another joke?
Oh yeah, whiter shade of pale.
Real song.
That's probably where
Yeah.
the name came from.
Who
Yes.
sings that song?
Skip the line. No, skip the Clem Fandango.
Hold on, let me put Doug back on mute, Rich. Hold on. Oh, I think I do know the song.
That line.
Yeah.
I think I do know.
Whiter
Is that
shade
where
of
Clem got his name from?
Yeah, I bet you.
Oh, now where did Turd Ferguson get that name from?
Why?
That
I
was-
wonder.
That was
That's
a
toilet
character
humor.
Will.
I'll have to ask.
on
I'll have to ask.
Saturday Night
Turd.
Live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He played a
Alex or
game show contestant on Wheel of Fortune or something.
yeah.
Turd Ferguson.
When Will Ferrell
Will
is
Ferrell.
Alice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's-
Oh, look, yeah, Merrill, who said, yeah, same thing. Burt Reynolds on SNL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what about Dangus Squatburger, another repeat viewer on the live?
No clue
That
on
one,
that one.
that one might be just a good made up name.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen. I don't want Merrill to sit back any longer. He's back. He's ready to come on. Let me bring him on. Coincidentally, Merrill's name is also made up. His real name is Louis CV, not Louis CK. No, I'm kidding. Let's bring him on. Merrill. I won't try to pronounce his last name, but I will pronounce Metal Detecting NYC.
Oh.
So let's bring him on, my good buddy Merrill, and I'll move him to the right position. There he is.
There he
What a
is.
handsome devil.
Hey, Merrill.
How? Oh, now you're not really muted, Merrill.
Oh, fine. You got me. I want to be like Dog Tag Doug.
Yeah.
That's all I
Merrill.
need is 2 muters in one day.
Yeah. How do you spell NYC?
NYC?
Yeah, how do you spell that?
Is this a trick question that I like?
I'm not
There's a
sure.
lot that
I
goes
want
over
to see
my
your
head, Doug,
degree that allows you to teach.
I told you, that's why I leave Doug muted most episodes, Merrill.
so.
But
Well,
Merrill, how
I
are you?
got the
We just
correct
saw you
answer
too.
because I see it on my, Metal Detecting NYC Merrill. So I
Oh.
got the spelling for that one right there.
Okay.
Yeah. I just realized, Doug, like a week ago that I guess as the host of this can change everyone's name. And I didn't realize I could do that.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah. Like
The
technically I could
power.
change like your name, or not that I'm going to do it, but
The power behind the curtain, huh?
hey, listen, once in a while the wizard pulls a magic out of his hat or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever
Well, some people might not know what NYC stands for, Jason.
well, if they don't, I mean, that's pretty, But no, well, what's fascinating too is, obviously it's New York City, metal detecting New York City. And, before I met Merrill or even knew of Merrill, because I knew of him before I met him, I didn't really think of New York City as a place where metal detecting would be a big deal, because in the few times I've gone up there, I'm like, well, there's nowhere to hunt. It's all concrete, the concrete jungle.
Oh, shoot.
But, when you live in that area, you find those nooks and crannies, and people like Merrill, they know the hot spots. And I mean, geez, he's been going for years and years and years now, finding amazing things. So you can go anywhere and talk about a historic area. If you know where to go, we probably find some absolutely incredible things.
It was really interesting doing the field in Arkansas, and it made me think of New York because you're right. There is barely any space when you're talking about New York City, and I've witnessed over the last 5 years the destruction of parks. Like it costs more to manicure the fields, so they're doing the turf fields now, and that's really annoying. But I think what New York has taught me. Well, and this goes for the time that Charlie and I dug together too. When you're doing a farm field, you have to move. You're moving around, and you could find pockets in there for sure. New York, everybody appreciates the grass and likes to sit on it. It's like it's a difference. It's different, and that leads to a lot of drops. And the type of detecting that I guess I was born and raised with, at least detecting wise, was in those extra crowded New York parks that have tons of people and lots of stuff, lots of garbage that's dropped. And I've had to learn how to like operate in like really confined spaces, even in the biggest of parks, because you're just layers and layers of bottle caps. So whenever we go to events like we did last weekend in Arkansas, or when I went with Charlie, it's just it's like, okay, I'm reinventing, I'm relearning. It's so different, so different.
Yeah, with some of these fields, and we live in a crowded part of the country too, but we do seek out these big fields. Nothing like the ones in out west and down south, but it's intimidating when you go to a field and you can only see open field as far as your eye can see in every direction. And if you didn't get a chance to research the area, like, where do I begin? Like, where did you just start walking and swinging? And, next thing you know, you're 2 miles from your car. And, it is a different type of detecting when you're just in such large open vastness where, like you said, where you're in a shoebox and you make the most of it and you pull out those bottle caps. But eventually you get down to maybe some good stuff under those bottle caps.
For sure. There's just such a big history of depositing. We like to say depositing, people dropping things, losing things, in New York. And, there's so many people, so little space. Yeah, you make it work. New York has a deceptive amount of forests too. But, the time of year that you could really do that, with the ticks, it's very limited. So, it's when the weather is cold, and otherwise it's the parks or the beaches, or you head out to Long Island, which is where I've been detecting more recently, or, further upstate.
Now, is Long Island where that Dead Horse Bay is that you've been hitting for so long?
Dead Horse Bay is in Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn.
And yeah. It's right next to the site of New York's first airport. Yeah, I said first airport, and I'm blanking on the name right now. I'll think of it. But it's like Barren Island was the name of the original island. There was a lot of filled in area to that. Um, it was a place in New York that like only a very strange group of New Yorkers that really did not have a strong, sense of smell with their nose. There were horse rendering plants there, and it was a very low demand area, but there's a really great book about it, and about the families that grew up there. Nobody wanted to leave. It was like the same groups, and they chose to isolate themselves within New York City. And of course, that all changed when the roads came through and they had to like really connect the city because it was built. It started to be built in the horse and carriage days, and then huge population boom, and there went that. And you get a lot of the dumping from 1900 to 1950 at Dead Horse Bay. A lot of the stuff you'd see on the Flintstones, that the dinosaurs are doing. You'll also see the Dead Horse Bay items that go along with the dinosaurs in the Flintstones. So it's very much the era of Dead Horse Bay. You sometimes find older stuff. Fascinating place.
Yeah, I was telling you before the show, we have a place that we hunt every year, a couple times, that we call the Field of 1,000 Holes. We haven't figured out why there's been thousands and thousands of cool things there. We think it was also dump related. We're not sure. But, the difference is that because yours is in the title area, yours continues to unveil new things, maybe bring new things up, where ours, everything we find, it's not going to replenish. We're slowly depleting it. You've been going there for the better part of 5 years or more. I see other people coming over. I see you had Nicola White over, who's maybe one of the world's, most well-known mudlarkers. How did you originally find out about that little honey hole, tucked in the middle of Brooklyn?
My friend Jonathan said, "Hey, let's meet at Dead Horse Bay one day," and I was like not looking forward to going. I'm like, "No, I want to go metal detecting instead. What's this mudlarking thing?" And my friend Jonathan Mejia, he's like, "Yeah, no, really, this is like popular on Instagram now." This is like 5 years ago, so Instagram, I guess it was a little popular then. I've always been more into YouTube. So I go and I'm like, okay, like I see the potential in this, and it's another form of treasure hunting for sure, and it's different, and there's a strategy to it for sure, and it's a very different experience. It's a consolidated place that has moments that everything is exposed and everything is always moving there. So it's a really, really interesting place.
Yeah, I saw some incredible finds, Doug, when I was spot shotting a good 20 or 30 of Merrill's videos this week, because he's been doing it a long time. You forget. And I was looking at some of the things he found, gold pocket watches and all sorts of coins, so many rings. How many rings have you pulled, Merrill? Maybe hundreds? I don't even know.
Yeah, I'm about to hit 1,000 with rings.
1,000 rings, Doug. I mean,
I've seen his chain of rings, which is very impressive.
Oh, he finds some incredible things.
I've actually thought about Merrill. I'm wondering, do you sell some of this precious metal? I know that's not why you do this, but do you ever? Because if I had 1,000 rings that I found, I'd probably sell some of them. I mean,
good point.
Rich, if I'm being totally honest, my love of hoarding has only gone up. So it's reaching new levels, and there's something about like collecting, and you can't do it with everything. If you do it with everything, you should get in trouble with the other family members that you have.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the hard part.
Yeah, but in terms of metal detecting finds, I can't part with them. And I know exactly how I'm going to part with them. I told my kids, like, when I'm gone, what I want you to do, and it's up to me to teach them how to do this so they don't get ripped off. I want them to sell it. I want them to make some good money from it. Yeah. And gold will always be in demand. They'll know how to do that. My son's starting to show some interest in detecting again, too. So might get some company there with that. My daughter's 11, so too cool.
Yeah.
But hopefully in a few years.
So Merrill, do you strictly mudlark this location, or do you detect it as well?
I've detected it as well, but due to the crazy amount and the layers of metal that is there, and we're talking iron too, it is very, like, you could metal detect the edges, and you could bring it on the beach in the more sanded days, but if you're a good detectorist, you could probably get some, something from it. But I find it easier actually to mudlark, to just like there's a process to it. I have a digging tool, and on the best days you have maybe about this much space to the hard pack, and you have to find the areas that have not been disturbed, and everybody digs nowadays. There's classic mudlarking, which is going with your eyes. I just made that up, classic mudlarking. You're not going to find that in any book or on the internet.
That's not the actual term.
Oh, we just made that
You
term
just coined
up.
a new phrase.
Yeah.
When I think of mudlarking, at least I think of people with the eyes pulling it. But my eyesight is really not too good nowadays.
Same.
And I know beach metal detecting pretty well, and I know where things fall, based on wave speed and such. And I apply that at Dead Horse Bay, and I think it really helps. And sometimes in the case of the gold pocket watch, that was pure luck right there. Everywhere else was just sanded. I went to one spot and bonanza.
Well, a lot of the hobby is like that, in the sense that, is it luck? I guess you could say it's luck that you found it, but the skill is you knew where to go, when to go, your eye is trained. So don't think it's all luck. Your skill made the luck happen. That's what I like to kind of put it at.
Luck is the residue of design.
Right. Whatever Doug just said, Merrill.
I'm deceptively intelligent, so
that's what I said in the pre-show. You're deceptively intelligent. Well, when I said it,
luck makes me.
Got the New York School Board Buffalo.
When I said it, my brain was thinking compliment, but my ears
dude,
like,
no,
wow,
that's amazing. I was cracking up. I love it. I love it.
My ears heard. He looks like an idiot, but that's not what I meant.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's what you want, though. You don't want.
Listen, for anybody who wonders, I was hanging with these guys in Arkansas. I was having a blast. They are just the same as on the videos that you watch. That is what is so cool.
More
about,
bad
Jason
words
and Dog Tag Doug. Like that.
Well, we had Merrill, and I always say, Doug, do you remember? Like, Doug's an idiot. I know he does. This is a segue. But we had Merrill come down. Charlie, I don't think you were there that week. I think we had, who did we have in place of Charlie when Merrill came down?
Was it Matt?
Matt, no.
Yeah. It was
Musketball Matt.
Yeah.
We had Merrill come down. We had a big house. I wanted to get with him for a while, and you kind of forget. Had a big house. I called him like 2 days before, and I was like, oh, he's not going to come down on 2 days' notice, but he did. And it was a big, beautiful colonial property. And I think you found a gold ring in that property.
Yeah,
I did. You guys were on fire that day.
No, Rich was on fire. Rich was on. The rest of us were just slowly warming up.
Rich, you got game, dude. Listen, man, I've said that before. You got, well, all you guys got game. But, that day you were like, look at this. Look at that. Look at this.
That was a magical yard. And
that was your first real.
Yeah, my first half real.
His first KG1.
Got a KG1, yeah.
I want to say, and maybe I'm wrong, that might have been the very first day you were using the new XP machine, or do I not have that right?
It was very early on. I think I used it for maybe about 2 or 3 months before that. And you guys don't know this. I didn't tell you this. Like, that was a day where I shifted my philosophy very much. And again, it's the New York Park thing. And you have to listen to those squeaks. You have to take everything seriously. You have to dig iron sometimes. And if you take that philosophy down to, I'm not used to the filet mignon of sites. And you guys were generous enough to bring me to an amazing site like that. And I was still in the mentality, like listen to the good signals
Yeah, yeah.
and just dig. You never know what it is. I don't believe in target ID. I've done
No.
so many
No.
of those books.
Yeah, you don't. You don't.
You don't. It could be anything. It could be something good. It could be something bad. But I was doing those like obscure signals that are like, 50-50. And you don't do that first. You do that later on for sure.
Yeah.
But there's a triage that you have to do. And I've shifted, and I think I've done better since then. The gold ring. I've been meaning to ask you guys, did that ever make it back to the? I'm sure.
Yeah.
It made it back.
Doug and Rich brought it back, didn't you, Doug?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We gave him the ring. We gave
And you
him,
gave him you found a sterling spoon that had like
Yep.
initials. You gave him that too, Doug?
Yep, that was a big serving ladle, sterling silver. Gave that to him. They were happy with what they got.
You know what stinks too, Merrill, is I was hoping, Merrill found the gold ring and Doug found the sterling spoon that had the owner's initial. Now the owner was there, came out, we showed him. Merrill and Doug both offered, and the guy said, no, I'm not interested.
Well, his wife got involved.
Well, the next day, the wife got involved. Oh, I think I do want that spoon in the ring.
Yeah.
So I had to call Merrill, and Merrill
Yeah.
was gracious enough to mail the ring back.
Yes.
Doug brought the ring and the spoon back. And I'm thinking, oh, this is a good faith move. We're giving them these things. Here you go. I said, Doug, ask if we can come back again. Doug asked him. Nope. That was it.
Well, no,
Wow.
It's not
No.
out of the question.
Well, he said no.
No, he didn't.
He said,
No, he didn't.
ask me again next year. That's
Next year?
exactly what he said.
Well, that was a year ago.
That
He
was
doesn't
two,
like letting
2 years
people
ago.
in the yard, but I think if it's just a few of us, maybe 3 of us or something, he would be open to it. Plus,
I kind of think he was overwhelmed with
your cousin, or is it your cousin?
my
His
second
cousin and my former guy I worked with lived next door.
Technically, they could give us permission, not for his house, but for their backyard.
Yes,
So,
Well,
which is where we were primarily.
yeah.
but anyway, the point was, I appreciated the fact that Merrill, who we all did the right thing and offered it to him, they said no, thank you. And then the next day, I had to call Merrill, which you don't want to ever do. Hey, remember that gold ring? But Merrill didn't even question it. Sent it back. Doug returned it. It was really nice, and I appreciate you, letting that homeowner, albeit a little late, have their dreams fulfilled or whatever.
Yeah.
I always like doing that. I started out, I guess, my journey with like losing my ring. So it's kind of an easy choice after you do that.
Yeah, can you tell that story? Because I know that's how you
Yeah.
kind of got originally started in the hobby.
Yeah. So there were a few things. When I was a kid, there was this orange metal detector that I swear, we're talking it's years ago now. There was this orange metal detector that I remember, and I think I got it as a Christmas gift. I'm an only child, so I got hooked up. I got a metal detector. I only used it once at the beach, not because I didn't want to use it, but access. Like I guess I didn't think about like going in the yard and doing that because I always associated metal detecting with the beach.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't have the access. I didn't live close enough to the beach growing up. I grew up in the middle of Queens. So I used it once at the beach and I loved it. I remember I clearly finding this little piece of aluminum foil and I'm like, this is not a toy.
Yeah, it's like magic.
It's magic, right? And then the next thing that happened, I was standing online. No. Next thing that happened was me losing the ring. I was coaching baseball. It was like my first or second year teaching. And it was the year I got married. I wasn't used to wearing a ring. It was like the first time in my life I was. My hands always get sweaty. I always give people pounds instead of like handshakes. That's a whole nother long story, way too much information. But the ring, fell off my hand. It was in the dirt. By then, the next team had played. And I thought to myself, I'm like, metal detector. You always wanted to do that. I saw somebody detecting at the beach a few years later. So that was 2006. I got married in 2006. So that happened then. Must have been 2008 or so. I saw somebody at the beach. I strike up a conversation with them. 2012, I'm online at BJ's. If you're in another part of the country, BJ's is like this wholesale store. It's like this
Costco.
huge warehouse that you could buy like food and stuff in bulk and
Like Costco.
like Costco.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Sam's Club.
And basically, they had metal detectors, and they were toy metal detectors. So I go to my wife. Okay, I'm getting one of these. She's like, "You're never gonna use that."
Good
Was that
I
your
use
wife's
that.
voice? Was that your wife's actual voice?
No. No. I would I used it in the front yard, and one of the first things, and metal detectors have to get hooked by a signal. I believe that. I mean, the process is great, but you do have to have like somewhat of early success, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And my house is 2013. No, it's not. It's 1913.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah. And
A big difference.
I was digging it in almost 2013. It was 2012, and I pulled this 1936 silver quarter, and I'm like,
Oh.
it's so shiny. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. And yeah, I mean, to this day, the majority of the silver that I still pull is from that era, Mercs, and
Did you know that 36 quarter was silver when you found it, or did you just think it was an old? Because it's still George Washington on it. Were you a
knew that it
coin
was
collector
different.
or any?
I
at
knew
that
that it was different. I didn't quite know about the properties of metal in the ground.
Okay.
And it shocked me that it was so shiny. And I knew it wasn't a fresh drop. I saw 1936, and I'm like, okay, I need more of these. Okay. And
Don't we all?
silver is like pure metal detecting crack. We understand this. We
Yes.
all understand this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was that. And I just started taking it to the park. But the thing that really, really, really got me into metal detecting was my long commute. I live in Southern Long Island these days, and I would commute to the city. I taught most of my career in the South Bronx, and I'd say 15 out of 24 years were in the South Bronx. And it would take me 2 hours per direction. And I would just be like, okay, I'm done with this. I'm taking me time. And I started bringing a detector to all of the local parks. And I knew that it was time to get to a school that was closer to home when everything, like your magic field, everything stops giving. So
Yeah, eventually.
yeah. And recently I'm teaching a lot closer to home.
Now, when you were hitting the parks, like when you found that first good quarter, how long did you continue using the BJ's detector before you like upgraded to whatever the next one was?
Not long. And I wound up buying 23.
23 metal detectors?
Yes, sir.
Why would you buy 23 metal detectors?
Well, it turned into it started with curiosity, and then I guess it somewhat turned into like my calling card or business model, whatever you want to call it, on YouTube for a while. And
Oh, you mean when you were doing reviews and all that stuff?
Yep.
Oh, I guess maybe you jumped the gun because I didn't realize you were already that deep into your metal detecting YouTube, thing. Also,
I've got a lot of videos. I know there's no way anybody could like research like all of them, and some of them. I mean, we're talking about the most psychedelic like metal detecting videos in the world are on my channel. We've got totally normal stuff. It's like frosted mini wheats. You got the the sugar side, and you got the healthy side. I'll teach about stuff. That's the healthy side. We got metal detecting rap. We got unlocks. We got the cat gods, which were like really early on. We'll just stop talking right now. We got creative. When I get an idea, I never stop myself. And
I remember, now this is just from my perspective, when I first saw you coming onto the metal detecting scene, and maybe you were there forever. Sometimes I'm oblivious. You were doing this unique thing where like once a month you would put out like an Excel spreadsheet of like, from what your research was, like every metal detecting YouTube channel, and you would sort them by, I guess, subscribers or whatnot.
Yep.
And it started off like the top, whatever, let's say 100. And then a few months later, it was up to 500. And then it was up to like 5,000. And he was constantly updating the numbers. Like, what made you do that? And how the heck did you keep up with it? There was so many of them.
I've had an interesting career because I was the only one in the school who knew Microsoft Excel. I literally, within the span of 2 years, went from art teacher to director of data in a charter school. And then I repeated that in the next charter school. Um, so I'm somewhat, I was a business major as an undergrad, and I learned some of this stuff. I was self-taught with some of this stuff. Um, I remember you said your wife is an art teacher.
Yeah.
And the early days, New York City was like of my career. I started in 2001, the week of September 11th. And that first decade, New York was just like hell bent on cutting the arts. And by the end of that decade, I had kids and I had to reinvent. And I've had to reinvent so many times in my career. And one of the things that I've learned was data. So, how did I pull that? Well, part of it was Excel and my knowledge of that. Two, the other part of it, I think I went to a website where you hire people, Fiverr. It wasn't Fiverr, it was like one of those. And I hired somebody to create a program that if I put the list in, it creates a list for me. And I kept doing that until I realized, this is more content that you could put out in a blog that people
Yeah.
would want to see in a blog. And it would be, because video is all about engagement. If you get people engaged, people knew that they would go to a certain point in the video or the video description, download it, use it. It would be a 1-second view. And I'm like, it made me good connections with like the quarter hoarders of the world. But, in terms of like an engaging video, it's just a different, it was an idea that was within a different realm.
It was just interesting. It was whether you decide to stick with it or not, it was a new concept that no one's ever done before. And things like that, you've had many of over the years where, whether you liked it and stuck with it or maybe didn't like it and dropped it, you're always innovating and you're always trying things that you don't see anywhere else. When I was watching his videos this week, catching up. Now, granted, Doug, I don't watch a lot of YouTube metal detecting videos in the last 2 years, so I'm kind of out of the loop. So I'm watching Merrill's, and when he found that gold pocket watch, it breaks away into like this montage of like the sushi and Merrill close up of Merrill's face. And if you're not expecting it, I'm like, what the heck is going on
Where
here?
did we just go?
But you know what? But the excitement of that clip is the excitement that he probably felt. So I instantly knew the connection. What made you come up with that? Because you have different scales for your gold, I guess your silver, whatever, however you do it. What made you even come up with that thing?
I've always been a little bit off.
That's fair.
That's the truth. Bizarre. And I'm not scared to look bad or stupid or like I have a background in the arts. I know you got to take chances in life. And what's the worst that can happen? I say I'm sorry if I mess up on something. And, like I love metal detecting. And I think of this, like, this is not a sprint by any means. This is like the story that I want to tell. And I'm going to be here for a while. And that doesn't mean that like every month I'm going to upload like 50 videos. I used to do that. That was crazy. Some months it's going to be like 1 or 2, and some months like over the summertime it's going to be like 8 or so per month. And you just you go with the ideas, you go with the stuff that makes you excited. You're going to have I think I have like something like 20,000 people that unsubscribed from my channel. I'll have
really?
more. That's fine. I'm not trying to piss people off. I'm not, but I got to be me, and I'm God. And people like me for it. When people get to know me, they're like, okay, I get him. He's pretty different, but cool.
You're a pretty good one-man band.
I try. I've always been somewhat of a one-man band. I'm an only child. You have to, by design, talk to yourself, and you socialize a little bit later, and but you get that thinking side too. And for many years, I would have that long commute, and that was the root of everything. Like metal detecting, thinking. It's just quiet time in the car, and I loved it and I hated it at the same time. And it really, it helped me in many ways with my thinking, but there was an exit point that I needed to have with that too. And I'm glad that I exited.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's great. And I like to try to think we're the same way in the sense that, you are who you show in the video. Maybe you're quirky or whatever you want to call it. We're the same way. But what I like about it and respect about you that we always do is what you see is what you get. And I know some people, I'm loud, Merrill. I'm obnoxious. I'm extroverted and I'm going to
I
grab
love
you.
about you.
And listen, and maybe that turns some people off and that's fine. But it is who I am. What you see is what you get. And you're the same way. And I think when you're genuine like that, when people do find you, they're going to stick around and they're going to know right away, I don't like this guy. And that's fine. Listen, there's lots of other channels. I hope you find one you do like. But if you're true to yourself, you can't misstep because you're only pleasing yourself. And
Yeah.
if they find it entertaining or they like you or they like what you're doing, at least it's all genuine. You can't ask for more than that.
I think I was so impressed with your process, Jason, and I learned watching you shoot a video, like there was artistry, like true artistry, to that true thought that went into, the video making of that. And I left, the last day that we hunted together, and I'm like, shoot, man, I take way too many pictures, of the ground and my feet and like the detector. And you've got these beautiful angles and these, it's artistry.
What's funny is,
yeah,
and I don't really try for that. I think that I did it because I don't know. I told Doug, I said, Doug, I have some metal detecting videos that are 25 minutes long that you never even see a metal detector. Because I try to capture the fun and all that stuff, but that's what makes every channel different. And you have your own unique style and it works. I have mine. I always say Brad from Green Mountain, he's got his own unique one. But if you're true to yourself and you make things the way you like them, you can't really go wrong because you're only at the end of the day pleasing yourself. And then hopefully other people get enjoyment from that. So I that's how I run mine. And I could say that's how you run yours too, because
yes,
it's so different, but it's so you and it works.
yes. You have to, it's not honest if you don't do stuff that like excites you. And I'm looking back on my stuff like years later, and I didn't cringe at the time, but maybe you look back and you cringe now. But it's a prideful cringe.
Yeah.
It's like, damn, man, you took a chance with that. Good for you. Okay, you learn from it. You move on. Who cares? Like, I never worry about looking bad. I never worry about being wrong. I'm like this in the classroom too. And I think it gets a lot of my students to take chances. And I think that's important in life. I really do.
That's good. Cause I can imagine, knowing you, how I know you, and we're not like greatest of friends, but I've been around you enough to know you're genuine. And I can imagine that if my teacher, I try to put myself as a teenager again, I would relate to a guy like you because you're not afraid to fail and you're genuine. And I like that, where it's okay if you fall down once in a while. And, it sounds cliche, but you get back up and you do it again, or you learn from it and you maneuver. I always respected people like that. So
it's the most important skill out of everything: getting up, being unfazed and continuing with the journey. And, whatever you see as the destination, committing to get there. Now I sound like a fortune cookie.
no, but it's true. But I don't want to be hokey all day. But it's impressive. Now, Charlie, I'm going to bring you into the conversation because I haven't heard from you much today. Now, I alluded that when we detected with Merrill at our place, it was early in his XP metal detecting career. And if you can look over Merrill's right shoulder, you see he's got that XP little sign there. Because within the last maybe year or so, Merrill is now the solo one, right? One and only one U.S. ambassador for the entire XP metal detector brand. That's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah,
Merrill, are you allowed to talk about how that happened? Did they approach you? Did you approach them? I'm so curious because at the time you were doing a website where you were talking about all different brands of metal detectors, trying to be, a person that would, relay the facts. But then when you are now aligned with one, did you feel like, oh, this might hurt my credibility of reviewing all brands? Like, what was that process for you? Like the whole thing?
I knew I had to stop. If I was going to go with XP, I knew that I had to stop. And I was at the point where I wanted to stop because
Oh,
I
you
got the
did.
answers that I needed. And anything can get bored. Like I see these tests that are happening and there's no science to many of them.
Yeah.
And I'm not throwing shade because I did these same tests back in the day too, in terms of like comparing detectors. I think the thing that really appealed to me with XP, um, they're different. They're very, very different. The way that they solve the problem, the way that they make it light without wires, the refusal to, they want to be the best. This is fresh in my head because I saw what goes into creating a detector. I can't even put into words how many engineers that I met when I was in France because they cared so much. Even like the different and just shut me up if I just keep
No,
going on
I'm
and on.
curious. I don't know a
Um,
lot about XP, so I'd love to hear it from you.
I think that the philosophy is so different. You're not going to see like the hype, of a new detector. The XP Deus One. Well, let me start with two. Two was designed so that XP Deus One could be completely within it and within one program. To me, that's radically different. And in the future, there's going to be all of the stuff that is within the two, will be able to be in the three. And, it's not like a brand new machine every year that is just hyped. But if you look at the versatility of it, Extreme Hunter, that's something that goes down 16 feet, big targets. In the future, the thing that's coming out, HF coil, everybody's excited about. I don't know date. I don't know. I can't really talk about that. But what does high frequency do? It finds small targets. Gold detectors run on that.
Yeah,
It's
they sure
also
do.
really great in iron. It's something that fits in a backpack. You could dive down. I'm not trying to turn this into a commercial, but my point is they're trying to do all of that within one detector. That's ambitious. I like that. That's who I would want to partner with. They're kind of bizarre like me, and I hope that's meant as a compliment. They do it differently. They solve it differently. I'm a believer, and I can't, after you buy 23 detectors, you can't go down. You're not willing to downgrade at all, at all. And when they asked me, it was a no-brainer, and I was excited about that. And I would get to like learn. In the past, I speculate a lot of stuff. Now I have people that I know some of my stuff I was right, some of my stuff I was wrong, and that's especially true about iron.
Yeah.
But I keep learning, and you know, it's been a big development year for me for sure.
No, it's really exciting. Like I said, it's not like your typical field team where they have 30 people and you're one of 30. And look, like that's still an exciting thing. You're the only one, and your position didn't even exist
That's right.
until you got it, really.
That's right.
Was it a mutual thing? Did they approach you? Did you approach them? Are you allowed to talk about that? I'm just
Yeah.
wondering how a position
I'm
that didn't
proud
even
of them with
exist.
this. I did a video in Turks and Caicos where the wire actually did not work. I snapped the wire and I forgot to bring the extra one. Now, everything is meant to be light because the lighter the things are, the more that you could move around. The ergonomics, if you're comfortable, you'll do it longer. It's that simple. And the wire failed. I was able to, patch it up so that it worked for the rest of the vacation. Since then, they have improved that. They're always looking to improve. They're always looking to assess things honestly and fix them. And I gave my feedback, And then a few weeks later, they're like, okay, hey, can you call me? And I'm like, sure. And I was absolutely shocked and honored. Um, it's like I wear my stuff to school some days. I'm that proud. I really am that proud.
Well, it
And
is really cool. I mean,
yeah.
like you said, because it didn't exist and they plucked you out of who knows how many, thousands of people that they could have reached out to.
Talented ones for sure.
So
Yeah.
it is an honor. It's a testament to your, not only your videos, but your communication skills, your educational skills, that they really thought, wow, through this vessel, we're really going to be able to get our message out there. Now, you said you were starting to burn out, I guess, doing the reviews, because in the back of your mind, did that thought cross your head? Well, if I do this, maybe I can't do that because it could be a conflict of interest. Like, did it bother you, or were you already kind of getting ready to get rid of that aspect of your channel anyway?
I think I got questions answered. Like, for instance, there's more to it than this, but if you're talking about depth, if you take the circumference of the coil and if you consider the amount of power that goes into it, there's calibration too. I think we're far along that trajectory. I mean, we've been pulling, and I look back at old magazines too, and people in the 1970s, 1960s, they're talking about pulling objects, coin sized, 11, 12 inches. Now, I mean, if you're talking absolute max, with the dais, perfect conditions, and this is not in everywhere, you're talking 20 inches. I've done that at beaches. I've never been able to do that in parks, but there are some situations in the dirt where you could get that. I've learned a lot about the coils and such. And for instance, I was like, okay, if we want to get deeper, like, why don't we just keep making bigger coils? Well, because it's going to give up some of those smaller objects too.
Yeah.
There's like a physics to that also. And, I was learning all of these things. The biggest appeal to me was like being able to like talk and have questions answered, with XP, and it was speculation before that, but I just kept feeling like it was like very similar. The detectors were very similar.
Yeah.
This was just like too amazing to pass up. And, I don't know it all yet, but I think every year, I'm going to continue to learn and, continue to get better. That's what I would love to do. I mean, I was certainly not like nerdy with everything. Ironically, we all become teachers, but with metal detecting, I'm so nerdy, and I want to, keep learning.
I think it's great. I don't know if there would have been a better person to pick than you, because you.
Wow, man, thank you.
Well, because you're humble. You know a lot about it, but you're not a know-it-all about it. You're always willing to know more. And who doesn't respect that? Like when I try to do like a tutorial video, which I don't love doing, but I just try to, help the community with tutorials once in a while. I struggle with, I don't want to sound like a know-it-all, because I don't, but I just want to share what I do know. And you're really good at that. And the humbleness of it really works good. I really think they landed a home run, and I hope it's a good long-term relationship for the both of you.
Thank you. My parole officer also thinks it was a great opportunity for me, and would keep me on like a straightened path. So,
right.
So
you have a job on paper.
Work release, huh?
Now, there was a question that came in, a very serious question, Merrill, I have to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Yankees or Mets?
Mets.
I know.
Where's Dog Tag Doug? We've discussed.
I don't know, Doug, we hear you, but Doug, your video is out. We can hear you, but we can't see you.
All right, hold on.
That's okay, Doug. It looks better when we can't see you.
Okay.
I'm a long-suffering Mets fan. Let's put it that way.
Now, I was only half watching the baseball series. Are the Mets still in? Forgive me if they lost. I don't know. They lost to the Dodgers?
They lost.
Yes.
Yeah.
They made it longer than Doug's Phillies, though. So Doug doesn't have the last word, at least on
Well,
this subject.
The Mets were the reason the Phillies aren't in it anymore.
Right. But then the Dodgers knocked them out. So
Yes, but that's all right. We were proud of what the Mets did.
the question came in from Eric Thompson, who just super chatted me too. So thank you, Eric. I did get your question. And there was another super chat from Mainly Dirt Fishing. I wanted to say hello. Thank you, Mainly Dirt Fishing. And if anyone has any questions for Merrill, we'll try to look at them and roll them off at the end, because if you have a question, I would love to ask him for you.
Could I ask Merrill something?
Absolutely, Doug.
Okay, Merrill, the gold pocket watch you found, were you able to get it back to working condition?
Not yet. There's a lot of with the gears.
Yeah, it looked pretty gutsy inside.
You'll know when you get there, and I would love to go with you guys. We call it Dead Horse Bay juice. It is like all of the stuff that just, when it's in a landfill for long periods of time, God knows what the chemical structure is of it. It stays in like this, like
barnacles. There was like barnacles on some of the.
Yeah, it's not. It's so different than cleaning a coin,
Yeah,
or cleaning something like from the ground or even the beach. It's so different, and it's almost like glue that stays on there.
Is that considered a
that you get
super
on
fun
coins
site?
can add glue. That's Dead Horse Bay.
Doug, I'll send you a link to that video, because when he cleaned it, when I say cleaned it, whatever you did, maybe tumbled it for a little bit. The outside, the gold part, looks fantastic.
Right. It's
but
the inside.
I can't take credit for the cleaning of that. My buddy Jeff, he's like, ooh.
Yeah, your buddy Jeff, I think it was.
Yeah, can I try that? And I get impulsive, man. Like when it comes to cleaning, I'm just like, okay, I want to see a date.
Yeah. We're the same.
And he's just like, no, you gotta. And I'm like, okay, all you, man, all you.
Yeah.
I would love to come up there and do that, Jay.
Well, maybe we will go up there. I mean, I'm not going to give away Merrill's spot, but he might invite. He's invited us. So it's only like 2 hours.
You were invited. Come on now.
It's only 2 hours. Now, it used to be a dump, and when I was reading about it online, areas of the beach have been condemned because of radioactive material. I'm serious. So wear gloves and maybe rubber-soled boots, but we'll go up there. What the heck?
Yeah.
You've lived this long, Doug. If you get a little radiation, what's it going to hurt?
Yeah.
I'm just going to tell the audience right now, because I'm genuine, I'll tell you this. Like I jaywalk, and that makes me a rebel. And, I'm one of those people that crosses in the middle of the street. So you can judge me for that if you want. But it also leads to a life of mudlarking in radioactive areas. They did do a cleanup. I was at the beach, and they did a cleanup of it, a survey, with Geiger counters, and they took out all of the stuff that was radioactive. The thing is, at the beach, it's layers upon layers, and you also have stuff escaping from a landfill. They did go into the landfill part too, so I think they tried to take it out, but there's definitely other hazards there. Yes, wear gloves.
Is it considered a super fun site?
Yeah, I think so.
A what, Doug?
Good. A super fun.
He asked me if I think it's super fun there. I do think it's super fun there.
Oh, Doug,
no.
It's like, Jersey Ray Diggs. Thank you, Jersey Ray Diggs. Oh, and she said, don't go there in the high summer heat. It's stinky.
Yeah.
Stinky in the wintertime too.
There's no non-stinky time to go, Rachel.
There's a very unique smell there. Very unique smell there.
Yeah, I mean,
all I can say is it smells like Dead Horse Bay.
Yeah, I mean, to me, no bays smell good, but the fact that it was like a horse slaughterhouse for 100 years, that can't smell good.
No bay smells good, but imagine a bay that starts with dead. Yeah.
Apparently, that's what cities smelled like back a long time ago.
That's what it was so notorious about it, because people like horse rendering plants. It would give off a smell that was so bad, and like there was this interesting generation of people, or interesting bunch of families of people that just lived there for generations, and then it was like. Robert Moses, that when the roads were made, just built right over where they lived, eminent domain, They got something, but they had to leave Dead Horse Bay, and there's remnants of that too.
Now I saw. I don't know if you've noticed this, Lynn. I know you're a fan, a big fan of Nicola White, the mudlarker
Mhm.
from England that hunts the Thames.
Right.
He came over and hunted Dead Horse Bay with Merrill. Was that a planned collaboration, or did you hear she was already coming over? How did you hook up with her? She's a big name in that sub niche.
I don't know how this happened. I didn't contact her. She contacted little me. And
Really?
I was at like maybe like 15,000 subscribers. And like, here comes Nicola White, like walking down the street. I'm like, and she's so cool. She's so humble. I have texted with her like from time to time, just a wonderful lady.
Now, was she just, I mean, the stuff she finds over there, obviously so much older and so much more of a range of age. How was she with the stuff that's, maybe a little newer in her eyes, but at least probably all unique things to her? Did she like the experience? What was her overall thoughts?
I said she had a great time there. As we all know, she's got game. And whenever you're going to a new setting, it takes a little bit to adjust. She adjusted. She did great. I recall her getting a lot of great stuff. And she's such a great storyteller, like with the finds. Brad Green Mountain and her, I just listened to them. And then I look back at my videos and I'm like, oh, dang. Like, okay, dude, tell a little, I mean, be yourself, but tell a little better story. I'm like, oh, snap. Yeah, it's a Merc. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, it's hard. I struggle with that too. Sometimes when I'm editing my videos, I'm like, man, Jay, you're droning on for like 20 minutes. And a lot of the editing is cutting myself back, that part is challenging. Charlie, was it you that had a question to Merrill in the pre-show about, or was it Rich or one of his, about the woman that's on the beach? And I said, wait, ask about that during the show.
I think that was Charlie.
I know some of the things I see. This woman shows up. She seems very grouchy. She's grouchy with you. I'm like, but you still keep talking to her. And what's that all about? Who is she, or what's going on with her?
I'm going to give full disclosure before I start talking. I love this woman in real life. She is a fantastic human being. You have to really squint to see that. You have to really squint when you hear her screaming at you in videos. But she's kind of got some superhero in her, in that she really enjoys when the people around her are happy. And, she'll go out of her way to make sure that everybody like at the beach finds something. Like, she's so generous like that. She had a friend who was sick once and, like loved Dead Horse Bay, and she brought her favorite stuff. And she's been the subject of God knows how many documentaries, but let me tell you something. I have a feeling you're going to meet her. If she yells at you, it means she likes you. And
sounds like my wife.
New York.
Yeah, that's how this is, like a wife, Charlie. Like that's what I always tell Doug. Like I said, Doug, that when I make fun of you, that means I like you. Because if you were a stranger, I'm not going to make fun of a stranger. I saw her in her name was Adele, right? Adele.
Yep.
I saw her in some of the videos I was watching this week, and I could tell instantly that you adore her. But there's a little bit of like friendly back and forth playfulness, But you know what I mean? Like the one I even saw, you were helping get money so that you two could go over to England.
Yep.
So I mean, you wouldn't do that if she wasn't. I'm sure she's a sweetheart, but yet I know exactly the kind of person she is. Like she might pretend like she's jealous, but deep down, she's happy when everyone gets on something. I bet you would love her, Doug. She looks like a firecracker.
Ooh,
like a lot of energy.
Firecracker.
Yeah, that's it.
It's interesting like that. I was thinking when you were saying that she wants everybody to get something, but not better than her.
Right.
Listen, and that's just Adele. And she,
that's like
okay, we're competitors also in some. Maybe we grew up playing sports. I don't know, but I know that I've had some tough hunts over the years. I'm like, I gotta find something. I've gotten pretty good at like quieting that inner voice, but when I'm around her, that's when my competitor side gets out. She's gonna rub it in. Oh my God.
did you meet her while you were mudlarking there, or did you know her beforehand?
I met her when I was mudlarking there. She came up to you. She's like, "You're the guy who does the videos, right?" And around that time, that was like really early in my channel. I had like 1,000 subscribers or so, and I'm like, "Yes." And she's like, "Yeah, I saw your video on Dead Horse Bay." And I'm like, and at the time there were like 2 videos out on Dead Horse Bay. Now anybody on Instagram goes and you see them posing, and then you look at them posing and like you're gonna get ticks in a few minutes, okay? But yeah, it's yeah, I met her pretty early on.
Okay, that's cool though.
Yeah.
Hey,
And-
Merrill, one thing I like to also say, do you do any big fields? I know when you came down to detect with me after crossing the covered bridge, you got out of the car, you stood there, and you just looked around. You kept looking around like
Heaven. That was one of the greatest times I've ever had metal detecting, Charlie. I absolutely, it's so different than New York City.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How different is that to come out here and you have these big fields and you can see forever versus where you do now, Dead Horse Bay in the city there. I mean, you just stood there and looked around. I kept watching you like, are you all right?
I was just so happy. and I don't know. I am somebody who tries to take in the scenery, and I'm weird when I detect. Like, yeah, I want to do well. I want to find some great stuff, but especially when I'm not making videos, it gets weird when you make videos. You can enjoy it more when you don't. But then again, that also could be in my head. I'm taking in the scenery, and I just loved taking in the scenery because it was just so different. And I remember I pulled it was like a late 1700s half cent, and I'd never gotten that before. And I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And just walking around and seeing, like, having the target spread out instead of 500,000 bottle caps within the span of like 20 feet. It's wildly different for me.
Yeah, that is. Now, Merrill, I mean, that's funny you mentioned that too, is, New York is a really old, early American settlement. Do you find the occasional coppers, large cents, half cents, like really old 1700s coins in the areas you hunt, or are they probably so deep from years of building that they're out of range?
Nowadays the struggle is, they're really starting to, like, manicure the parks and manicure, like, bring in stuff like, layers of dirt, like on top.
Yeah.
And that's if there's dirt. And, the other option is the sports fields, where instead of paying a grounds crew, money to maintain them, now it's like, oh, let's go turf. Let's go. And, that just happened to my school. It's happening everywhere right now. Thankfully, they're leaving the other parts of the field in schools. But yeah, it's it's like that now.
So, did you ever get a large cent or a colonial era coin in New York?
I didn't answer the question. Sorry.
Okay.
You probably saw the gears turning. You're like, shoot, you forgot about the original question.
Well, no, because I'm thinking that New York, the biggest city in America, maybe the world, they're constantly building. I'm sure everything. Heck, what was on this 2 inches down 10 years ago is probably now a foot down because of they're bringing in dirt and they're always trying to make things better and clean them up. But I didn't know if over the years you got in a spot that maybe you did get fortunate and get colonial era things because they got to be there. Just are they
this year? I think I'm on, if I'm just off the top of my head, 3 or 4 large cents. I think only one of them came from like the main area of a park. So yes, it is still possible, to pull those old silvers. I have a theory on that, and I definitely want to hear all of your thoughts on this too. Of course, you get the thawing and the freezing of the ground, and perhaps like a little bit of movement that goes in that, and who knows about drainage and like what's under there. I'm really beginning to think about like iron, and I was doing this video I spent like a month doing this video, and I kept proving myself wrong. I kept learning a little bit more, and I was wrong, and this video never came out. But I did learn a lot about iron, and the magnetism to the iron, it decays over time. And like in my backyard, there's a chicken coop. We don't have chickens in it anymore. We turned it into a garage, but 100 years ago, it was a chicken coop, and we've got like 100 years of nails. That's where I set up my test garden. And I've owned 23 detectors. I mean, even more now. Long story short, there were some things that I lost with every single detector at pretty shallow depths because of the masking of iron. And there's different things that you could do to mitigate it, but it's still going to be an issue. And I think that there is a lot that's left in the ground. But I think the reason that we keep finding stuff on sites is partially because of the decaying of the magnetism of the iron.
Yeah.
Oh, so you said the iron, because it's rotting away, lets the better signal slowly amplify better as the iron's getting less and less of its magnetic properties.
So that area in Virginia, Culpeper, Virginia, which I've
Yeah.
never dug there, but I know it's notorious about the soil.
Yeah, the
And
red clay.
Red clay.
Red clay, and it's rust. It's rusted soil, and it's iron oxide. And it's iron oxide is a different chemical structure than iron, and it's the magnetism is very different. It obviously still affects it. Nobody, not that I've never dug there, but I've heard from so many people in the region. The depth is like completely sapped. Like everybody uses pulse induction in the region.
Yeah.
So you're still dealing with the results of you're still dealing with somewhat of magnetism, but it's not the same as something that's magnetic. The thing that really threw me for the loop is not all iron there has to be an alignment of the particles in order for true magnetism to happen. It just blew. I thought I had it all figured out, and then there was something else that I learned.
Yeah, there's always something to keep learning. Isn't that right, Doug?
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on an online college course here.
He's a teacher, Doug. Open your ears.
You guys all overestimate me. Come on now.
Let me tell you, I have a simpler deduction on pulse induction.
All right, get your notepad out, Merrill. Get your notepad
this
out.
is very simple.
Yeah.
For pulse induction, you just need coffee.
That's awesome. That is simple and hilarious. I love it.
That's good. Now,
Well,
Doug,
don't hurt yourself laughing.
Did you know, Doug? Maybe you knew this. I don't know. Did you know that before Merrill started his Metal Detecting NYC YouTube channel,
he was one of the Three Stooges?
No, that's true, but that's not the one I was going for. Did you know that he had a previous YouTube channel for a whole different subject that he grew to over 100,000 subscribers?
Really?
Did you know that, Doug?
I did not.
Rich, did you know that?
I think so. Yeah.
Charlie?
Did not know that.
Rich, do you know which category his previous YouTube channel with 100,000+ subscribers, what that YouTube channel focused on?
No, but I can't remember, but I think I remember you mentioning it.
Linda, do you have any idea, Lynn?
To do with cooking.
No, good guy. He does like to cook, though. You said, right? Mel?
Sushi.
I'm a
He
foodie
was
for
a
sure.
sushi chef.
Not sushi. That's a good guess.
That is a good guess.
No. Would you mind letting the cat out of the bag? I see some people in the chat, Merrill. I won't go on and on about it. I
started my career teaching as an art teacher, and this was like the happiest accident that ever happened. It was the early days of YouTube. I'll give it like full disclosure. But I had kids that they would like rush through an assignment I want them to work with care. So I needed them to know, like, if you're going to rush through an assignment, I'm going to have another assignment for you. And I would make these videos so I didn't have to sit with them and do step by step with them. So I made these step by step how to draw videos, and your happiest accident ever. I got my play button for that, and yeah. And then I took a break from that when I stopped teaching art, and then I was like, yeah, time to do a metal detecting channel.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, was that hard at all for you to walk away from a pretty big YouTube channel and just
Not at
be
all.
like, I'm done with it?
Not at all.
Do you ever log into that channel and like see if anyone messaged you or is it just totally forgotten?
We could do it now.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just curious. Like, I wonder.
Know, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
No, I know that.
Actually, when I signed into StreamYard, I was like, "Ooh, should I play a trick on these guys and go as my art channel?"
I would let you in.
Were you like that guy on PBS?
Oh, Bob Ross.
Oh, Bob.
Yeah, Bob
I
Ross.
don't have the hair talent to do the Bob Ross.
That guy's as dry as Death Valley topsoil.
Oh,
Yes.
I like. How can you be rude to Bob Ross? He was awesome.
Yes.
He was like the Richard Simmons of drawing.
Well, let me tell you something really funny about him. They actually have a power drink, like a monster drink that gets you all juiced up, like Red Bull, named after that guy. It's
Really?
yes, that's
Well, the guy
the truth.
doesn't scream high energy to me. That's a weird.
Well, it's such a it doesn't, the two don't go together, but it's true.
There's a whole Netflix documentary on Bob Ross, Doug. You should watch it. It's really fascinating because he doesn't own the Bob Ross Trust.
Name. Yeah.
Doesn't own any of his artwork. PBS owns everything.
Sure.
So it's this whole family, quarrel of they can't get the rights to any of his paint. It's really interesting. You got to watch it, Doug.
Yeah, well, I can see Merrill right now is Googling Bob Ross power drink.
I might have done better. So
Oh,
I just put this in the private chat right here for the stream.
Let me see.
And I got into a fist fight with Bob Ross. You could show this if you want. If not, I could
What?
just this.
You got into a fist fight with Bob Ross?
I did, and the link that I put there can prove it.
All right, hold on.
I'm totally putting you on the spot with this. You do not have to.
Let me say. Hey, listen,
TV.
hold on. I'm gonna do it, Doug.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a 10-minute video. I don't know if I can play a whole.
You don't got to see. You don't got to see the whole video.
All right, hold on. I'm going to present it, Merrill. Hang on.
Yep.
Give me a second because I wasn't prepared, but I got it. I'm pretty good at the this thing. Let me maximize it here, and let me just hide this real fast. Hold on.
While you're doing that, somebody wants to know what was Merrill's old art channel.
If you type in my last name, yeah, good luck spelling that. Hold on. Let me UDraw is what I changed it to, but what you could still find in search because it's been dead for a few years.
All right, Merrill, I brought it up.
Yeah, that's you.
All right, so here's the video. Here's the link you sent me, Merrill.
Yep.
Now, do you want me to play it? Am I playing this?
Yeah, why not?
All right, let me see. I don't know if they're going to be able to hear it.
Wait, hold on. Let's ask the audience who they think is going to win. Who's going to win in a fight, me or Bob Ross?
Now, listen, Bob Ross, I never want to underestimate someone who's cool, calm, and collective. Sometimes they could be the most dangerous people.
That's true.
So I'm going to say, just to play devil's advocate, I'm going to say that Bob Ross got the better of you. Charlie?
I don't know about that.
You think Merrill put him in a figure 4 leg lock and
a lot of
submitted
people
him?
underestimate me.
I go
Just
with
saying.
Merrill.
All right, Merrill, Rich?
I'm going to say Merrill.
Oh, 2-1. Lynn?
I agree, Merrill.
Wow. Doug?
How can I go against Merrill? My money's on him.
You're going against Merrill? Or
No. How can I go against? My money is on Merrill.
Oh, so I'm the only guy going with Bob Ross.
Jason,
Yes,
you want to ask me?
loser.
Yeah, well, you would know, I would think. But all right, who do you think's going to win?
Bob Ross all day.
Yeah,
Let's
that's what I'm
go.
saying. All right, am I playing? This?
Yeah, why not?
All right, let me see. I don't know if the audio is going to come through. You hear that?
Okay, there's me going down the stairs. I'll narrate it. I open up the door to my studio, which is now full of metal detecting equipment. There's me painting when I had more hair. And I
Oh,
turn
look at that
around.
young,
Oh, yeah.
handsome Merrill.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's young. There he is. Look at that
Wow.
jerk. I break out my kung fu. He's waving at me. I start talking Japanese. Oh my God, I grew up on kung fu. There's my kung fu right there. I say, bring it, Bob, bring it. Dude throws a freaking paintbrush at me. Paintbrush. And then he starts painting over my picture. Who does that? Man, those were the days that I didn't iron my shirt either. So
Hang on.
Yep.
Was this the basic premise of your old art channel?
Oh, we just had fun. We just did. Listen, my motto for life is I do what my Rice Krispies tell me to do. That's my
he
motto
listens
for
to
life.
his Rice Krispies.
This
Yeah.
is like, this is really entertaining. What makes you even think to get in
How
a
come you're
fight?
not this creative?
Well, maybe in my
Yes.
videos, like we'll like get in a fist fight. We'll like start throwing axes at Brad, and then like he's slingshotting Indian arrowheads back at us. All right, let me replay because I got to see who wins this, Doug. Let me see if I can
I
make
took
this
a
full
paintbrush
screen
in the
if
eye
it's
there.
from Harry.
Bob Ross walking away. Of course he wears flip-flops. Oh, Coco. That's my dog, Coco. Rest in peace, Coco. That was a long time ago. I got 2 riffraff right now. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Had to drink a beer with a paintbrush in the eye. Good thing my wife's a nurse.
Now, Merrill, I'm also noticing. Hold on, I'm going to intervene again.
Paintbrush still in his eye?
He's
Yep.
got the pencil in his eye. Can you see it
Yep.
over there? But Doug, look how long ago this was. Here's the year down here, if you can see it. This is from 14 years ago.
Holy crap.
That's crazy.
The
And-
early
and-
days of YouTube.
Yeah,
Merrill
it
was
must have
there.
been really early. I mean, these comments, look at them, from 14 years ago.
2006.
That's incredible. That's
Wow.
incredible.
You know what's
Wow.
crazy? The people who watched, the audience who watched these videos, it was like the 13 through 17 demographic. And I've gotten
the
a
young
few
ones.
messages like from them, like, and they're grown now. They're like in their 30s now or late 20s. And they're like, it's because of you I became an artist.
Wow.
Wow.
And
That's a
there's
good-
a
that's
few
a
of those
compliment.
messages that I saved. And I'm like, wow, thank you. He's like, are you still doing art? I'm like, kind of.
Yeah, a different kind of way.
Just a different, yeah.
Marcel Duchamp went to chess, so I went to
That's
metal
right.
detecting. Not that I was on the same level, but
Let me see.
you
Is
go
there
with
more to this, or
inspiration.
was the fight over?
What's that?
Oh, hold on.
Yeah,
Was
there's
there more
and
to
this is what I would do. I teach. This is the start of part 2. I would start people off on an earlier, on an easier thing, and you just break. When you draw, you break things down into shapes. If you're trying to do realistic,
I'm going to just spot shot it for people. Oh, but the Bob Ross fight is over.
Bob Ross fight is over.
Did
Yeah.
you even get a shot in? I didn't see any shots. Bob looked perfectly fine.
Of course I did. No, but that's the thing. Like, I was injured, so I had to go to the hospital. But I got a lot of shots in. He was trying to apologize and like show me a squirrel and something like that. And yeah, I'm like, no, Bob, I don't want to hear that. And we got at it again and we made peace. And sadly, a few years later, he passed away, and I kind of miss him now.
Yeah.
Always loved his show.
I had heard, Doug, in the chat that Merrill was forced to leave this channel because he didn't have the approval from the Bob Rice Trust Fund to play the video.
My mom just told me that Bob Ross was what was on TV when she was in labor with me.
Wow,
that's
And
so
I
cool.
said, did it help calm you down? And she said, no.
I could see that.
Yeah, it was on the TV in the labor room.
So as Rich was crowning, Bob Ross was putting a happy little tree.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Well, that's pretty good. You didn't name Rich after him, though. You didn't call him Rich.
Rich Ross.
Bob.
Ross.
That's his other name.
There we go, over here. All right, I'm bringing you back in, Merrill. Well, listen, if anyone wants to watch, when the show's done, just for the giggles, Doug, I'm going to put a link also to Merrill's old art channel. So if you want to go back and probably watch some crazy hijinks from 3 or 4 presidents ago, it might be a little fun run down memory lane.
If you think there's goofy stuff on my channel right now, oh, go to that one. I was younger and even goofier. So
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
I'm
It must-
impressed.
Yeah, that's when you're like, you have all these, crazy things brewing through your brain.
Just go with it. It's all good.
That's fun. I mean, I just can't, like, I wonder, like, when I see, I don't want to say anyone's name out there, but there has been some metal detecting channels that were really big, like over 25,000 subscribers. And then when they're just gone, I wonder, like, wow, like, that's got to be really hard to walk away from something that you built so big and then just kind of leave it. Like, was it a struggle at all, or were you just ready to move on and that's what it was?
I was ready to move on.
No.
Part of it, to be totally honest, is like YouTube changed. Back in the days, you used to be able to like tag the videos and people would just like get to it. And if you do the most, there were less videos on YouTube and people would just like get to your channel. Nowadays, the amount of competition
Content.
is insane, absolutely insane. And it's all based on engagement. Now, the way that I made videos back then, I would do these step-by-step things, and they were different and they were goofy. And, people liked them. People would want to be subscribed to them, but they wouldn't watch them all the time, only if they were doing them. And a lot of teachers subscribed. The craziest thing was one time I was looking for a job. So I go into this school for a job interview, and here's this wall of artwork from my art channel. And I'm trying to tell them, hey, that's from my art channel. And they're like, you need to wait, sir, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, never mind.
Well, it's weird sometimes. I mean,
They didn't hire me at that school, by the way, either.
well, you would have think that you would have had an advantage at that point.
Yeah.
No, that's cool.
They didn't do their, yeah.
But it's pretty amazing, though. And you're exactly right. I remember, heck, even when I started doing the YouTube channel, there was maybe a couple of hundred metal detecting channels in America, which was still, at the time, it seemed like a lot. But when I looked last year, there was like 70,000 or something like that.
Yeah.
And it really, it's so big now. It would be tough to, that's why I'm amazed that your detecting channel took off so big, because when you made that switch over, there was already a ton of detecting channels, but because he's unique and he's interesting and has his own flair of doing it, he did kind of get above the crowd. So, again, a testament to that artistic ability, even in a non-artistic genre of metal detecting.
Thank you. What was crazy too about it was when I was doing that channel, I was thinking about a detecting channel. And I kind of wish that I started a few years earlier. I had a few videos that I put out in 2015. I like dabbled, but my kids were young then. And I was on break. I was focusing on that and like career and all that. That's when I was like director of data and all that fun stuff. And then, it was like, okay, 2019 was when I really got serious about Metal Detecting NYC. And, it's something that you got to be inspired to do. I don't see, like, I walked away from that one. I don't see myself walking away from this one. And I think the difference is this. I would come home from work and I would get like art. It kind of stressed me out, at least the type of art that I did, which was very tight, and, I would try to make things like look realistic and all that fun stuff. And then you start thinking to yourself, like, okay, shoot, man, if you're going to do that, why not just print it? Why not just like press print on your printer and have the printer print it out? It's almost like in metal detecting, how you find a coin from the 1700s and then you pick up a rock and you're like, shoot, this rock, this is like maybe 1 billion years old.
Yeah.
So, don't think too much is the point. But metal detecting, it relaxes me. Sometimes I get myself, and I'm getting better at this. Sometimes I get myself into, like, oh, I got to find something for the video. I never wind up putting out those videos. I wind up just like turning the camera off, just go detecting, go enjoy it. let it be. The pressure's off, and I can't. It's like the new wisdom. Like you can't force that. Just let it happen. Don't think about number of videos per year. Just let it be, and then it'll be good. That's
Well, the
how
good thing now too is and I know you do it a lot more than I do, are the new YouTube shorts and how popular the shorts and the reels have been, where someone like yourself who might go by yourself, like we go in a large group, it makes it a little easier because someone's going to find something. When you go by yourself, it's much more challenging to find things. But if you with the new short format, if you did go and only found one or two things, let's say you had a bad day and that's all you got, you might get two good, funny, quality shorts out of it to at least put some content up, where before the shorts, you would have had to put up a 2-minute video, and that was kind of frowned upon.
Yeah, no, I've dabbled in shorts. People hate my shorts.
Doug,
I don't
how
know.
often in life did you hear a grown man say, "People hate my shorts"?
I've never heard that.
No, that's the first time I've ever heard that.
People hate my shorts.
That's a good name for a title, Doug.
Yes.
People hate my shorts.
Yep.
Catchy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the shorts for my channel, but I know a lot of people that they live and die by those shorts. And if you have that mentality and you can do something interesting or funny or entertaining and short and tight, I do find a lot of merit in it. I just struggle for me because I'm so long-winded. I can't condense anything down to
No,
it.
don't feel bad about that. Like you're good long-winded. There's some people that are long-winded and you're just like, let's go. I think my bias against the shorts comes from the classroom, because I could see kids and I'm talking and I'm trying to make things as interesting as possible. And I'm like, you're thinking about swiping me up, aren't you?
Yeah,
I'm like, no, you're not going to swipe me up. Wake up. Let's go.
That's a good, I'm going to tell my wife that. That's a good term.
I literally say that to my students, like, no, you're not swiping me up. Let's go. But mister, no, you're not swiping me up. Let's go.
Doug, do you get that reference?
Oh, sure.
Okay, I didn't know.
I use an iPhone. I know what it's all about.
Well, with the TikTok generation, the kids, it's instant gratification, super short attention span, and that's what the kids do, just swiping up.
I think it's more the short attention span.
Well, it is. That's the world we live in now.
Yep. On to the next thing. Yep.
I like shorts.
They're different cats, but I like them. They're different cats these days. Very different.
It is different. What's that, Rich?
I was just going to say, I like shorts for if it's something funny, but if it's something, a lot of the metal detecting shorts I see, I want to see more information about that item. Unless it's just a coin that we've all found before or something like that. But a lot of times I want to see a more than 30 seconds.
It depends on how you present it. Like I said, I know I can't do it because I'm too long-winded. Like sometimes it takes a good minute and a half for the joke to develop. And if I got to cut it down to 30 seconds, I lost all context and then it stinks.
My jokes take 20 minutes to warm up to.
Yeah, if I usually edit your jokes out.
Yeah, I know.
but the short joke was good. But no, when we were doing the house, Merrill, when you came down, I remember you saying to me something like, "Oh, I'm going to go make a short," or something like that. And at the time, I didn't even know what that was. I'm embarrassed to say. I was like, "What's that?" Because I was so out of it on the shorts, and I tried to make a few of them, and I just realized it's not for me. But at least you were doing it back then.
I rage quit on that. Like we did the short that day. And
you were one and done.
Wow, you're digging with QuarterHoarder. That's amazing. And you get like 1,000 views, 2,000 views and stuff. I just consistently get 2,000, 3,000 views, and I don't know. I shouldn't complain about that. I guess metal detecting. It's a really tough niche, but I don't know. I feel like there's more of a story to things, and you cannot communicate the deeper aspect of things in 1 minute. You can't. You just can't. You need to work on your attention span. You need to build. It's that simple. And I've given that speech to many students, and they're like, while I'm giving it, they're like, "Huh? Huh? Huh?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, come on, man.
Well,
Let's
what
go.
I saw, and I don't want to get into a real long dissertation, and because I don't want to bore the audience, but I belong to a lot of these like groups of like YouTube creator groups, and I don't live and die in these groups. But once in a while, I go in and see what the topics are, and I read. And there's been a lot of YouTubers that say that the shorts really damage their channel if their channel was a long format channel, because the YouTube algorithm, when you put a short up, sees that people watch it for 1 second or 2 seconds and swipe. So then the YouTube algorithm thinks that people aren't interested in your channel as a whole. So then they don't push your longer format videos when they come out, or something along those lines. But it put the thought in my head that, if you're doing a combination long and short, the shorts could really hurt your long video channel because the algorithm is seeing that people aren't interested, or something along those lines. Have you heard anything about that, or am I missing it?
I've seen those videos too, and there's some channels that like their niche is teaching people how to do YouTube, and they have to come up with content with that too, and some of it is helpful, I suppose, but I don't know. I try to. I've gotten good at talking myself down. Like I was saying before, if I'm hunting and I don't find something that's good, I'll be okay with it. Nowadays, 7 times out of 10, 6 times out of 10. In terms of videos, yes, I want to get good views. Of course, it's part of the reason that we put out videos, make a little something, and have people appreciate it. But I'm really with this channel, and how I know I'm not going to burn out with it is, if I feel like changing it, I'm going to change it, and it might sacrifice the views. I'm having so much fun with it though, like overall, and like I've kept this fun, and it's become more of my art. Like my art used to drive me crazy. Like I get it why Van Gogh would chop off an ear, but have fun with it. I just, when I made the switch to, stopping rating detectors, there was a drop. It came back because, just be yourself.
Yeah. Well, you're still in that same niche too, but maybe if people watched just for the ratings, maybe you lose them, but then you pick up different ones in their place.
It just could be something that you obsess over. And when I metal detect, like that's my outlet. That's what it started with, me just wanting to get the heck out of traffic and, just, release after a day. And, that was the purest metal detecting that I ever did. And I always try to think about that, and I always try to get back to that.
Well, that's cool. Charlie, it's 9:00, and Merrill is a teacher. I don't want to have him on too much longer. And I'm going to try to go through any questions. I know specifically when Merrill came down and hunted with you, I wasn't able to go that day. Either Merrill or one of his friends that came down found something really cool, and I think they gave it to you as a prize, something along those lines. Am I wrong, Charlie?
That was it wasn't the Indiana Tones came with you that day.
Yes.
Okay. It was just you two fellas, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Jason, you're thinking of another time. What's the other friend that comes down with you sometime?
Jeff.
Jeff. Is it Jeff? Yeah. The second time he came down, he gave me a Riel that he found.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I mean that's what I was referring to. Is didn't they find they took him? You took him to an old field.
Yes.
I guess Jeff found some sort of Riel, and he gave it to you.
He gave it to me. Yes.
What now? Why did he give it to you? And I'm not saying like that's weird, but you found plenty of Riels.
Right.
What made him be like, oh, Charlie, this is for you? Just the goodness of his heart.
Goodness of his heart. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I have it in my, my showcase to this day. Yes, I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty nice of him, especially because I don't know how many reals Jeff found, but you know we
Well,
find a
Well,
lot of them.
he had found one also, didn't he, Charlie? For
Yes,
himself?
yes,
Yeah.
Oh, you found one also.
yes, I did. I found one real. It was that day.
Did you find a real? That everyone found reals that day. Merrill, were you lucky enough to get a real?
Nope.
No, not that day.
I was happy with my half cent. I was thrilled with that.
Well, that's a pretty good day. I mean,
Yeah.
even those three things alone, 2 reals and a half cent. That's
Well,
a good day in my book.
I think Jeff found a cap bust dime that day.
Oh wow! And the
in a
real?
Yeah.
Which I have yet to find, by the way.
Oh wow! Well, that now I know why he gave you the real because he wanted to go home with the cap bust.
Yeah.
Yeah, right in fence row. Yeah,
I would have gave you my whole detector to leave with the cap
Yeah.
bust. So I totally sympathize there.
But when we started to hunt, the young man named Brian Bradley, 15 yards from the car, he found a KG right away. Remember that, Merrill?
I do remember that. Yes.
Yeah. He just got out of the car. We started to swing. He found a KG right away.
Well, listen, hey, in that area, there's no difference from where you parked the car to a half a mile out. It was all colonial farm.
Sometimes
Or
we're
under the car.
Yeah.
Or under the car, like Charlie.
Yeah.
Merrill, there was a place we went to. I'll tell the story real quick.
Yeah.
Went to this house like 3 or 4 times, found all sorts of coppers, buttons, all the things we like to find. And every time we went, we all parked in the same area, like on the edge of the grass. So
That's
on
where
like
the
our
treasure
5th
was.
trip there, Charlie had to leave early. So he drives off and Rich goes over and detects under where Charlie's been parked for like 4 trips. And right under Charlie's left front tire was a beautiful New Jersey State copper.
OMG.
That Charlie's been sitting on for, for 50 hours. If he would have just parked a little to the right, he would have got out of his truck and found that. It just goes to show.
That actually happened twice now. That I parked and someone, after I left, they found a coin in my truck.
Part of our new strategy is halfway through the day, we make Charlie move his truck.
That's the detector right there. He knows exactly where.
Yeah, he knows where to go. He just parks on top of it.
That's the dowsing rod.
But Charlie, I want to get ready to wrap this up. If there's any questions from Merrill in the comments, or if any of you guys have questions, Charlie, Doug, Rich, Lynn, I don't want to keep. I know my wife gets up at 6 o'clock in the morning for school.
I talk for a living. I'll stay as long as you guys want. I don't want you guys to get tired.
I think Lindiana Jones had a question.
Oh, Lindiana Jones.
Well, my original question got answered, but I have another one.
Okay.
He hasn't mentioned it, but Merrill, have you ever found a GW button? Because the inauguration was in New York City.
That's true.
Goals.
They should be all over the place.
All over, Merrill. Every nook and cranny.
In theory, yes. In practice, no. I've never found. I've got some greatest hit buttons.
Let me bring you full screen so I can see those greatest hit buttons. Hold on. Let me see how I do this, Doug. Well, it's not working. Oh, wait. There we go.
There we go.
No.
Go back.
I was trying to get him full screen. I can't do full screen for some reason.
All right.
Let's see if we can see this up close.
Oh, there are some. Oh, I see a lot of 4 holes. Look at that one with 5 holes in it.
Mm.
But no GWs in that one.
No GWs.
No,
Lynn seems to think they're all over the place up there.
All over the place. How about
life goals, Lynn? Life goals.
No, that is pretty cool. I mean, who doesn't? I always joke, Merrill, and I say, if 10-year-old me was walking down the street and future me went back and said, hey, 10-year-old quarter hoarder, one day you're going to love old buttons. I would think he's crazy and get out of my face. And here I am now as older me, loving old buttons.
Yeah.
So, Jason, I'll since you threw that out there, I'll throw this out there. I am a member of like 4 or 5 different like button identification groups on Facebook. Yes, there is such a thing. So
I believe
I'll just throw that out there.
That's pretty. I don't belong to any specific ones for buttons. I might want to join because I always look for information on our old buttons. I love them.
I have a picture of a button I might send you, Merrill, because I've not been able to find anything at all.
Well, Rich,
I'm,
you got to.
I would love that picture. Please do send it to me. I think
Is
the
the
reason
shop
that I'm a
still
member
open?
of the groups is because I'm so bad at IDing them. There's a book that I've been meaning to get that has like all of this information on the buttons.
What, the
And
Alberts
that's
book?
one of those that I have not read, and I usually depend on the audience to help out with that.
Well, I'll tell you what, as good as the button books are, nothing is better than a big group that if
Right.
everyone knows
Yeah.
10 buttons together, someone knows every single button.
Yep.
Those are the best things because cumulatively, the hobby, we're geniuses as a whole. And I love, half the IDs we get are from commenters, just the average person, because someone out there seems to know everything. It's just getting it in front of that person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The group think is a powerful thing for sure.
Yeah.
Also, you talked about detecting a lot of parks up there. Do you have to get any kind of a special permit or?
Yeah, the NYC permit, it's free, and yeah, if you
It's
guys ever want to
free.
go, I don't think it's tempting compared to the sites that you go to. I've only recently gotten a few permissions. I want to start getting into that game a lot more. I've been invited to a bunch of places, but you ever want to detect parks? You permanent invite, of course.
I would love
What-
one day at least, Doug, to go do that bay. I just think that's really
Yeah.
interesting because
Yeah.
I love the possibility that anything can be found, even with your eyeballs, even broken glass. And I just find that, it's like our thousand holes, Doug. It's just those
I've
places are
seen
special.
my friend Adele pull $2 Morgan from Dead Horse Bay.
Wow.
You're kidding.
Yeah.
You got to watch them, Doug. It's really cool. It's amazing. And I love to see like when Merrill finds these coins, they're like covered in like a crusty
Dead
like
Horse Bay juice. Yep.
yeah, it's just you would think like it looks like someone put it in wet concrete, you know what I mean? So you have to painstakingly tumble it and electrolysis and all that. And then the one I saw after you spent who knows how long cleaning it, they weren't even coins. They were like blank slugs.
It was a miracle what Jeff did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Charlie, I just sent you a message in the chat. So yeah.
Okay.
Merrill, you have one video of yours that I always remember and think about is you're in the middle of, at least what you said in the video, in the middle of New York City in the woods. You found a colonial spot and you were digging buttons, and I can't remember if you found anything really amazing or not, but just the fact that it makes you think that in any woods anywhere there could be something that just nobody knows was there from a long time ago, and it could be in the middle of a city or it could be who knows. But
I used to play the video game. It used to be called Sim City. Anybody remember?
Yeah.
I remember SimCity,
Oh, yeah.
And it's the buildings coming up on a site and all that. It's kind of how land is inhabited. Couldn't get that word out. It starts out with a farm, and a lot of the old, places that are untouched, they were once farms, and it's that proved it. Like that, my friend found the ox horn thing,
The
Yeah.
Oxnard.
yes, that, and that was old, and that was from a different time. That was from a farm in New York City,
Yeah.
and that land hasn't been touched since then, and it's pretty crazy that you could still find stuff like that.
How cool would it be, Doug? Like, in the middle of Times Square, they rip up the street to put down a new street, and they would let Merrill go in and hunt it for one day.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like what's laying under
Think
some of
what's
that concrete?
Yeah.
I saw one of those sites in Lower Manhattan one time, and they had the entire area excavated, and I believe that they had archaeologists in there.
I'm sure.
And listen, man, I jaywalk. I guess I don't jump fences. I don't. I would feel bad about that, but that was the closest I ever got to jumping a fence. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness!
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm not
Merrill.
detecting. I've jumped fences.
Merle's a Nighthawk.
Well,
Hey,
look,
Merle, my niece lives out on near Huntington Beach, Long Island.
Yeah,
A lot of Red War stuff went on out there, she tells me.
that's right.
Now, do you ever detect in that area? Because that can't be too far from you.
No, not at all. There's still a lot of woods that are up there.
Yes, it's beautiful country. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah, it is. It is basically like New York. I know my channel is called Metal Detecting New York City, and I don't want to say that I'm sick of parks, but they've been hunted very heavily, and I think it takes time to replenish. I know, like with the like one of the most formative things that happened with my detecting was that test garden in that iron bed with the where the old chicken coop was in my yard. And I couldn't believe it. Even with all of the detectors that I owned, there were some targets that were just not able to be gotten in the presence of iron. I think that we have more out there. I think that we get slight movement combined with the magnetism degradation that happens, and we start to see those targets pop up again, and we have to remember those sites and go back to them, but they take a while to it's not like a beach where they'll all replenish, but you'll get something again, and you just have to have a long history of where you collect. I'm going off on a tangent. I forget the original question. Oh my God.
Well, I was saying she lives in Huntington Beach. She has 4 large places that I can detect. And I was surprised. She took me downtown, and it's very historical. I didn't know George Washington's troops were there. So, that area.
They sure got around, didn't they?
You got around.
New York was huge. I mean,
on Netflix, there was a story called Turn, Washington Spies on Netflix. And that was supposed to be that area where she lived, and on the island, Long Island.
Serious.
Yep.
Well, when are we going to cash in on that opportunity?
We could do that. Then we can eat at a restaurant, Dallas BBQ.
I don't know if I can afford to eat in New York City. That's got to be expensive.
No, we'll all be treated. She owns the restaurant. We'll get free food there.
Oh, it's nice that you volunteer her to give us free food. Does she know about this?
Guarantee it.
When you guys come, I could handle that for sure.
Okay.
Well, if we come up, then we'll all go eat at Charlie's niece's restaurant. He swears we can get free food, Merrill.
Yeah, we will guarantee it.
He guarantees it.
Sushi for everybody.
There we go.
Sir.
Yeah, Merrill, how many different foods are related to the level of fine? I know the sushi and what's the one? What was
been unlocked with silver. Haagen-Dazs has been unlocked with silver. Right. Let's see.
Is there one for platinum?
Yeah. Platinum is all you could eat buffet.
Oh, okay. You probably don't use that one as much, right?
No, I've found I think I'm on like 5 or 6 pieces of platinum, like ever. So it's a little bit more obscure.
Wow, what's gold?
For sure. Gold is the sushi.
Oh.
Hey, you have one for like copper, or is that just so basic?
Hey, Merrill.
It's basic, but we need one. I did a rap about that. That's it's one of my more complimented raps. Large scent rap for sure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Whatchamacallit? Keys. Cheesecake is unlocked.
Yeah.
Oh, I've seen that one. I did see that one. Yeah.
Buttons are Jello. And I've got some really obscure ones, like
how about like Hot Wheels cars? What are they?
That's Wendy's. So if you get a Hot Wheels car, you get Wendy's.
Okay.
Now I can't help but notice they're all food related, Merrill.
I'm a foodie. I like
look at him. He's a foodie. Yes.
They're all food related. Now, is that I'm guessing that the correlation is the better the items, intrinsic value would equate to the monetary value of what you would eat that day if you made the equation. Is that the relation?
Like if you're thinking about like the rules of the universe to Merrill unlocks, I think so. Yes.
I'm trying to get into his brain. I'm trying to squirrel my way into his brain, Doug.
He's like a worm.
There's really no logic to them. A few of them was like positive reinforcement. Like hey man, you're different. I like your unlocks. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, that means I'm going to make some more. Let's go.
Yes.
And I find something, that video, and I made the video for it. So it's like, okay, we're going to repeat that now.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's cool. I like it, Doug. We can't do it because Merrill did it.
Yeah,
You
that
can
would
do
be
No, I can't do it. I can only do original thing. Now we
Yeah.
did do, which we should have kept up on. For a
bananas.
while, we were bringing new people into the group for, every few weeks. And every time we brought a new one in, I would say, all right, this week we're unlocking a new character. And then there's this new person that's never been on. But we don't bring enough new people in to keep unlocking new characters.
Well, I love the chemistry of the current group. I always look forward, to your videos, and I think you got something great going on.
Well, I mean, listen, they're a great group of people, and all the guys, everyone, and the woman up at the top, love the whole group. I mean, if you don't have, you get a good team, and I'm legitimately happier when Doug finds something or Charlie than when I do. I would say Rich, but he always finds everything. But I would rather them find it and me just be behind the camera capturing them find it than me bringing it home, because it's not as cool. So I'm always rooting for them. I don't care if I got skunked every week. If I can capture Doug with a big smile or Charlie, putting his fist up,
And
I'd
dancing.
much rather have that.
That's the artistry that I observed and learned from. Yeah.
Jason knows when I'm dancing, he knows I got something great.
He danced several times this year. Doug, like when you hear Doug screaming or something, well, the ooh he does all the time, all the time. But it's a different level. I see his eyes open like saucers, and I know he's got something good.
One thing, when you look at Charlie dancing, he didn't graduate from Arthur Treach's dance studio.
Sure.
Yeah, he's not exactly Fred Astaire, but I'm looking through that to what it represents.
Yes, still pretty cool.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Rich, were you looking for any questions? I always kind of forget to look for questions.
You know what? I was looking for questions, and the chat kind of went on an old.
I know, it kind of forgets. All right,
old video game rant. We're talking about Sim Ant and Sim City.
Oh, it's going on the whole Sim thing.
Trail.
Yeah.
And
Merrill's going to create a new channel in a few months of like a
Tangent.
Sim recreation, and that's going to be his new.
Real
Somebody
quick,
created that already. It's Minecraft, and oh my god,
that's true.
The question drives me crazy. It's like, why do you metal detect when you could just play Minecraft? And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Does that even make sense?
So people in the chat, if you have a question for Merrill, type that in.
Yeah, but listen, you got to type it in quick,
now.
guys. You got to type it in pretty quick. But we will go for it. And I don't know if I want to ask any very specific XP Deus questions. I'm sure you could email Merrill and he would answer them. But we'll try to keep it more lighthearted that everyone, a lot of people watch this Doug and don't metal detect. So I try to be more inclusive.
Yes.
Merrill, best pizza in New York. If I was going up there and I only had one day, one lunch, where am I going in New York City to get the best pie?
Umberto's deep dish pizza. I knew the owner's son, actually, and I went to high school with him, and he invited me over to his house. I had no idea dude was like loaded. But years later, I retried the deep dish pizza, which I know is more of a Chicago thing.
Yeah, Chicago thing.
It is.
Yeah.
But they do it so well. It's so good. That's all we get nowadays.
Really?
So it's called Umberto's. It's like a minor chain, but it's all across Long Island, more so than New York City. But it's so good.
Oh, there you go, Doug.
Now the chat's just talking about pizza. So I have a question.
Okay.
Not what is your favorite find, but what do you think is your most interesting find? Like what led you down a rabbit hole that you were just like, wow,
I think the Oppenheimer token that I found.
Oh, that's my last name.
That just geeked me out.
That's Rich's last name, Merrill.
Yeah.
No, but in real life.
I found I found it the year that the movie came out too, and this thing was just like staring at me. I thought it was going to be like I always find Mercs, So I thought it was like, oh, it's another Merc. And then I take a close look at it, and it's like this silver. I got it right over here. You want me to get it?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, let me
Yes,
see it.
please.
All right. Oh my God, I'm getting up. I forgot about this. Ow.
See this.
Oh, age. Ow.
Oh, we're getting a Heine shot there. I almost followed him out of there.
See, people hate my shorts.
People hate it. Oh, there was a good one from there was a question, Doug. Hold on, I just saw it. From our good buddy Joshua Sipes from Vets Dig Beeps, who
yes.
said, "Hey Merrill, what's your favorite pinpointer lanyard?" That's a good question.
That's a loaded question.
And no brainer.
P
Vets Dig Beeps.
P chords for sure.
All right,
This
let me
is-
see.
Is this focusing not too well?
Not
It's kind of
too well.
focusing. You might have to tilt it back a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to adjust the light here. That's what it is. So we're moving the light.
Is that silver?
No, it doesn't look.
Yes.
Oh, is it? Oh, I couldn't tell.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Let me
There
see.
it looks silver.
Oh,
yeah.
there it is. I see a big giant A.
Yeah, that's the letter I never got in school as a student. But
Oh, wow, I do see it there. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And then
What-
you became a teacher.
and then we all become teachers. The ones who are just mediocre students. I could always describe things pretty well, but
That's
Yeah,
really.
that's
No,
your
I
test.
actually saw earlier today the video. You found that at Dead Horse Bay. I saw you pulled that out of the ground, but I didn't make it to the end to see what it actually was.
you see it says A-bomb.
Yes.
Yeah, so this was given to the people who worked on the Manhattan Project.
Wow.
And there were different levels to it.
Wow.
So basically, there was a bronze one. If you came in third place for creating the atomic, I shouldn't joke about that. I'm such a jerk.
It's too soon, Merrill.
The leaders basically got silver, and I got silver. So like the people right under Oppenheimer. So this is like the VIP. Like we made the A-bomb token.
That is something.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
that's
I'm
really
gonna
cool.
I'm gonna see if I
Didn't
can
know
bring
that
it.
existed.
I
Now,
have here's a pic. This isn't Merrill's, Doug,
yes.
but I just found one on like some auction site because that's where you find them at auction sites.
Right.
But that's what you were holding up, right? You found that?
That's it.
So they were handed out to people that actually worked on the
Oh.
Manhattan Project?
Yep, and there was two different levels of them. There was the bronze one and there was the silver one. And the silver was like for the final bosses.
Oh, wow.
Did you find out how many of them were made or
Yeah, how many exist?
I did, but my memory is like Dory, so
Dory,
But
like
probably
Dora the
not
Explorer
a
or
ton,
Dory?
right?
Dory is the
Dory.
fish who can't remember anything.
Oh, yeah,
you know?
Ellen DeGeneres. Yes,
Yep,
yes, yes.
yep.
Now, Rich, I will say that here, I'll bring this up, Rich. I know you're gonna be able to see it, but I found one from this Jake's auction site that his sold for $486.
Wow.
So anything like that, Manhattan Project, has so much history and intrigue about it. I'm sure that it does have financial value. Again, not that Merrill's going to go pawn it tomorrow for pizza, but it's just rewarding to know that outside of the hobby, people would pay money for the stuff that we deem as treasure just because we're the first person to hold it again.
That's probably I think I've gotten that question once every week my entire life is are you related to the scientists?
Yeah,
And,
I do too all the
we're-
time.
Yeah, their
We're
their
not.
last name really is Oppenheimer, Merrill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dave
Okay, I
says-
thought you were joking.
No, it
Yeah.
really
Oh.
is.
It is.
And Rich,
Yeah.
I forget, is there a relation? I don't remember.
Not that we've been able to find.
Dave
No,
says
just
no,
coincidence.
but I think way back they're probably all related.
What's funny is Doug's last name is Johnson, and every week someone asks if he's related to Magic Johnson, the basketball player, and they're
No, but-
brothers. They're
But I
brothers.
have one.
Oh God.
Doug, I'm putting you in timeout. You're in timeout.
Who unmuted him?
Yeah, why did I
Yeah.
unmute him? No, but that is a pretty amazing find. So good question, Rich. Super coolest finds there. I saw another one. I'll ask him Josh's question. Merrill, what's your favorite pinpointer lanyard?
Well, that would be P chords.
Is that the name of his?
I believe so.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I always call them Vets Dig Beeps, but you're right.
Yep.
The P chords by Vet
Yep.
Digs Beeps. That's right. We're going to be giving some away in a few weeks. More on that later, but that's a correct answer. Let me see here. Was there any other questions here? What? I don't know if this is to him. Oh, 5 Mile Relic Hunter said, "Have you ever met anybody famous in New York City? All the celebrities pop through there eventually. Have you ever bumped into anybody on the road, in a restaurant?"
I'm terrible with facial recognition,
But
and
there must
I'll
have been
walk
someone
down
that
the
you
street.
knew.
I'm like one of those like I'm always thinking, and there's always ideas. It stems from being an only child, and I'm used to just being off in my own space, and And when I walk down the street, some people will talk to me, and I'll realize later, like, okay, wow, yeah, we passed somebody famous, but it's usually somebody else telling me.
Oh, okay. It's not
Yeah.
you. You don't notice them.
Yeah.
A lot of times they've got their sunglasses, they've got their hats, their hoods. They don't really want people to be talking to them. They just kind of want to.
If they're
Do their
super
thing.
famous, Rich, if they're
Yeah.
super famous, they're hiding. But if they're like up and coming, they want to be recognized.
Yeah.
I met
When I used to deliver up to Manhattan for the farm all the time, Bruce Willis walked by me,
Oh,
and I was staring at him as he walked past me 2 feet away from me, and I still wasn't sure if it was him or not. And then a guy came out of a clothing shop there and said, "You know who that was, right? He has an apartment on this street. He's around here all the time." And I said, "Wow." So it was him, but it really didn't look like him. That's the thing.
I was walking in a field in Arkansas last weekend, and I met or was it 2 weekends ago? And I met QuarterHoarder and Dog Tag Doug.
oh, wow. Now they were probably in disguise.
They looked just like they do in the videos, and they act just like they do in the
Yeah.
videos. That was like
Unfortunately, they
awesome
act just like
and
that.
refreshing.
Have you noticed, Merrill, at these events, no matter where you are, you can hear and see Jason, no matter how far away he is.
Yes, it's so cool.
I've had people come up to me at events and say that they heard me before they saw me.
Exactly.
But
You got a distinct voice too. Like you could tell that it's you, and you narrate your videos, and
I'm loud. I'm probably obnoxious to some people. Hey, look, it is what it is. If you don't like me, that's fine. I'm not for
That's
everybody.
right. You're not going to change.
Right. This is who I am. But that's okay. Do you know any events you're going to next year with XP or just on your own, Merrill? People always love to bump into the events, get a photo, say hello. Any
I'm
early
going back
2025?
to Arkansas for an event. Oh my God, I'm blanking on the name.
James Huntley's hunt in like a few
James
weeks.
Huntley's hunt. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I don't know the dates on that, but that's coming up, isn't it? Like another couple of weeks.
No, it's March of.
Oh,
next
that's in
year.
March. You're right. My bad. It's in March. Okay.
Yep. And whatchamacallit, I'm going to be going to Granite Treasure Hunters Club coming up in November 3rd. So like that's coming up in like a week or so.
Where in the country is that?
New Hampshire.
In New Hampshire. Okay.
Granite State. That's it. Yep.
Do you have like a schedule of events, like anywhere where people can see where you're going to be if they wanted to track you down?
I really should.
Okay. Not yet. It's in the works.
Working on this business card thing too. Like everybody like starts talking to me like, "Oh, do you have a business card?" I'm like, "Shit, people have been asking me that for 20 years now."
Well, here's what we'll do then. If anybody wants to know, reach out to Doug. Doug will start keeping a calendar of Merrill.
Yes.
And Doug
Thanks,
will
Doug.
give updates. Yeah.
I'll give him my business card and write Merrill on the back.
There we go. We'll keep a track for you.
You can go to Office Max and get them made in 2 or 3 days, Merrill.
It's just a matter of keeping track of the calendar. I
want to know the craziest thing? Like I teach a class called Career and Financial Management, and it's all about getting kids ready.
For the business
Understanding like what the next step is and what the steps to get there is. One of the lessons that I teach is on business cards. And every year when I teach this lesson, I'm like, dude, you really should have a business card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is they always say, and it's so true, that sometimes the very best teachers weren't good at doing it themselves, but they know what to do. It's just that they just don't have the time to implement it, but they have the knowledge. And that's okay, you know. So even if you know what to do, it's okay if you don't actually have
The
that
best
calendar.
managers were not the best ball players.
That's right. Sometimes they were. That's right. Casey Stengel did not get many home runs.
Right.
So,
And the guy in town with the worst yard is a landscaper.
You don't know Casey.
yeah, well, not around my house though.
He's-
The guy, my neighbor's got a really nice yard. But listen, it's 9:30, Doug. I want to wrap this up. He's been on 2 hours. You see how fast it goes
Wow.
by?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, Merrill. It goes by fast. 2
Jeez.
hours.
That was fun.
It's a lot, you know, it's a lot of fun. And I'm sure that I'll probably reach out and have you back on again because
Whenever
we
you
like
want.
Merrill. He's a good guy.
Yep.
There's so many questions that we can ask you.
Well, you know what? Normally I load up with some extra goofy questions, but I had that late minute dinner. So I don't have as many late minute ones. But I know Merrill's one of those guys where I can just bring up a cool topic and he will just tell interesting stories on his own, like Riley does. Some
Yes.
people have that gift of engagement. So no, it was good to have Merrill on. Rich, before we get out of here, Rich Lynn, any last minute words for our good friend Merrill?
You were a great guest, and I hope you know, ever since we dug together that one time, I've been wanting to dig with you again, and we just, you know, haven't
Same, buddy. Same.
haven't
Thank
gotten
you.
to.
Well,
to
the
work
fields
out.
are opening up, so maybe we
We
can have
will,
Merrill
yeah.
back down again. It was only 2
Yeah.
hours. That's not bad.
Not bad at
Hey.
all. Yeah.
Oh, and after the next nor'easter, we'll come up and go to Dead Horse Saloon or whatever that
Right,
is.
right.
Sounds good.
Of course, it may never rain again. I don't know.
It hasn't rained in quite a while. It's
Oh.
been
Like-
tough around here. It's been super duper dry.
Yeah.
Charlie, any last minute things
Well,
for Merrill?
I retired from teaching myself. How many more years before you retire, Merrill?
Oh, good
Good
question. man.
question. I did many years in charter, which I don't regret. I met some great people. Charter don't give you a pension, and I think I'm trying to secure that. You know, before I got kids that are about to go to college too, so you know, it's complicated with that, but
Right.
it's not too many more. I'm estimating it's going to be 5, so
5
which
years.
is not bad.
So how many years were you teaching already?
I've been teaching for 24 years. I started the week of September 11th. That was my crazy
24
first
years.
week as a
Okay.
teacher.
And
And
about 5.
it's probably going to be 30. I'll probably do 30 and then, you know, right off into the sunset.
Are you even
but-
40 years old yet, Merrill?
What's that?
Are you even 40 yet?
Yeah,
Of course
I'm
he is.
well past. Yeah,
Oh,
so
Oh, I don't know. He looks like a young guy to me, Doug.
He
I'm
looks
going to be
about
46
50.
in a few weeks.
You'll be
Jay,
how
I
old,
think
Merrill?
46.
Okay.
I think you're just bad at estimating age, Jay. You
I'm
thought
not
you
good
thought
at
I
it.
was 10 years.
You know
younger.
the irony of this? You remember you saw my driver's license.
Yeah, but I wasn't like eyeballing it. You know,
I'm
I was just
mesmerized by the picture. So the
Yeah, the
story of my
picture.
driver's license,
I like
nobody
the
wants to sit in line at DMV. And on my driver's license, I still have a picture of me when I'm 16.
yeah, it is. It's
I
cra-
like the
can't believe
dress
he
you
gets away
were
with that.
wearing that day for the picture.
I can't
Merrill, the
believe it,
reason,
Merrill's.
Merrill,
His,
the reason I
his
asked you
driver's
that
license
question
gets your,
about retirement, you think you're busy now. You're busier when you retire.
I believe it.
I found that out. I'm busier now than when I was actually working.
Yeah.
I believe it.
Crazy, seriously.
Retire early enough that you have the energy to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's good advice. Yeah. But, well, we'll see what happens, though. You still have to make sure you can, you know, keep food on the table.
Right.
Yep.
He knows what he's doing. He's a smart
Yep.
guy. He's a business teacher, Doug.
Yeah.
He knows all the ins and
We
outs.
still got that lawsuit pending with Bob Ross. With
Yeah, you got that Bob. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
God, the guy stabbed you in the eye. It's got to be worth something. But
every,
no, listen.
every time my metal detector goes around my eye, it's like, beep, beep,
Yeah,
beep.
yeah.
He sees Bob Ross in his nightmares now. But Merrill, listen, man, I really appreciate you coming on. Thanks for giving us 2 hours of your time. we're definitely going to invite you back again. And I do want to take advantage of your Dead Horse Bay. So
Yes.
watch for that
Please
text
do.
from us. I'd love to come up and do it for a day.
Let's do it. That sounds great.
I appreciate it. So thank you again for coming on. And hey, I will talk to you soon, brother.
Sounds good. All right. Take
All
care,
right,
everybody.
Merrill.
Take care.
See you
Have a
later.
good one.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Hold on, Doug.
Oh.
Where are? There we go. What a good guy, Doug. Always
Yeah,
liked
he is.
Merrill.
Nice.
Always
Absolutely.
liked him from the minute I saw him. I enjoyed him. Always good company too.
We don't get
Yep.
any schlubs on this channel.
Well, no, that's not. Well, that's true. But I meant like even outside of this little show, whatever this is
Yeah.
we even do.
Yeah.
I just think he's a good dude.
He's an interesting guy, Tim.
Yeah, and he's easy to get along with. He's friendly
With a
and he's
host-
genuine. I love genuine.
With a host of talents. Yes.
Yeah,
That's
for sure. And I do want to get together with him again. I had a good time. I enjoyed his company when we were together before.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Charlie? And Doug, I forgot to tell you now. I'll take a poll from you guys. You know, I have a bunch of guests lined up already for several of the upcoming weeks, but I purposely didn't schedule anyone for next Thursday because it's Halloween.
Yeah.
So what do you want to do about next Thursday? We could maybe just do us. Do you want to have a skip week? What do you want to do?
I don't know. Put it out for a vote. See what
That's what I was doing.
the viewers. the viewers.
I can say I will not be around on
Yeah.
Halloween.
And I'll be in Ohio.
Oh, okay.
And I'll be cooking turkeys all week.
All right. So maybe we'll skip next week then, Doug.
That's a good
Unless
idea.
unless we just do me and you, Doug.
Do you think we can carry it?
Well, you're pretty heavy. I could try. We'll see.
Let's see what the beginning of the week looks like.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear. I do like handing out candy to the trick-or-treaters, but it's kind of winding down. I know you're a bah humbugger, but I enjoy it. But it's kind of winding down by 7:15 anyway. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, this week is my church is we're getting ready for our dinner we have on Saturdays, this coming Saturday, and I'm the cook, and I'll be cooking 30 turkeys and making 100 gallons of soup.
When are you doing this?
What's that?
When are you cooking all these turkeys?
This coming Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Oh, okay. Like a week from today.
Do you strictly bake, or do you use the fryers, Charlie?
We have ovens. We have about 7 ovens that we use.
Okay.
For the turkeys, and we do homemade pies. We do about 800 pies.
Wow.
So we'll be busy next week.
Does that mean you're not going to go metal detecting?
Well, this Saturday I will, but the next Saturday I have Dig It Dude.
Oh yeah, he's going to
Down
that
New
Dig It
Jersey.
Dude. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about
Dig
that.
It Dude down New Jersey. So I get done Friday. So in the afternoon I'll be heading down to Jersey for Dig It Dude. I'll be missing the supper. I'm the cook, but I won't get to eat it.
Isn't that how it always works,
man.
Charlie?
If I was one of the recipients, I'd be very wary of what I was eating if the chef wasn't there.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. The
He
chef's
makes
not
it.
there. We get 1,000 people.
Oh, don't worry, it won't hurt you.
Charlie does so many of these things, like the Peach Festival where he cooks like 12,000 peach pies, and the ice cream festival where he's like milking cows and
No wonder he's 600
burning
pounds.
butter.
That's why I was telling Burrow, you're busy when you're retired.
Yeah.
You are. You do other things. You know, like the church got a hold of me as their cook,
Wow.
which I don't mind.
Yeah.
He does a
And
lot.
I think you enjoy it.
And my wife Judy, who's sitting next to me, she's my partner in this whole thing.
She is the lovely Judy.
Lovely Judy.
Show your face, Judy.
She doesn't always show her face. I don't want to put her on the
Come on.
spot, but
Come
there
on,
she is. Look at that
Aw.
princess.
Hi, Judy.
Look at that princess.
We drove 8 hours today upstate New York. 8 hours of drive we did today. I got
Wow.
out at the time.
Now, who's the better driver, you or Judy? Be honest, Charlie.
I don't
Judy,
know.
who's
I
the
would
better
say
driver,
sit
you or
next to me.
Charlie?
There you go. I think Judy's the better driver.
I think she might be.
But she has the most speeding tickets, though.
Well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
they
have
call her the Queen
bureaucrats.
Judy. There's David Chumley in
Yes,
there.
a bureaucrat. I can't back up. I always get into a problem backing up.
Yeah. Judy keeps Charlie motivated. You know, behind every good man's a good woman, they say, right, Doug?
No question about it.
Yep. Yep.
No
Judy's a
question.
So
keeper.
you all know that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yep.
Charlie knows it. Charlie knows it too.
Yeah, you've all experienced that. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at that, Doug. We got two special guests today, Merrill and Judy.
Yeah.
You're not on this anymore,
This
are
is
you?
why- this is
Yes,
why-
live,
Cameo
Judy.
shot. Yeah.
Oh, did she thought we were off? Did she pull a Steph? Did she pull a Steph?
Yes.
Thought the show was over? Oh,
Wow.
Judy, we were saying hello.
What did she say?
She thought the show was over.
Oh no.
No, she didn't say anything bad.
Oh,
Judy,
okay.
you think Judy's going to say something bad?
Well,
No, she just whatever. She's in her pajamas or whatever.
Oh, why is she in her pajamas? I thought she looked fine.
Oh God.
should I go put mine on?
She's
Charlie's
back.
not
I
in for
might
a
as well
week.
be
Oh, now she's
embarrassing
back.
myself.
Yeah, Charlie, look, Judy, see up at the top where it says live and it's counting the numbers?
See? That's
Oh
tough.
my gosh. Oh
Judy,
my
you look
gosh.
like a princess. You look
Oh,
like a princess.
no. Oh gosh.
I
Oh
think
my
you're-
gosh.
No, but we're winding down the show anyway, Doug. It's late and I'm pretty tired.
Well,
Yeah.
we won't have a lot of talking afterwards. So is everybody here going up to Cape Cod?
Well, listen, let's end the show first, Doug. We're still
All right.
live before we
All
get
right.
into our
Well,
little
Keep it quick then.
yeah, oh, thank you. All right, how about this? We'll keep it really quick. Hold on.
Quick.
I'm gonna
Thank-
keep it really quick. There, how's that?
Okay, bye.
Bye, Doug.
See ya.
No, but no, we're gonna get out of here. We do have a few quick things we'll talk about offline. But anyone want to say last goodbyes? Lynn, I'll give you 30 seconds and we're gonna get out of here.
Next week, next Saturday, I'll be in Ohio, Berlin, Ohio, at the Simple Good Show.
That's right. Lynn will be
So-
at the Simple Goods. We had an advertisement for it last week. What was the name of the town?
Berlin.
Berlin, Ohio. If you get out there and see Lynn, oh, you're out of prizes, I think.
I am. So Saturday, if you could bring me some more,
Yeah, or that they'll still get a picture with you, even if not, get a picture with
we
Lynn.
can do that.
I'll try to bring some and give you a few of them. I have some. I
Are
haven't
you going to
made
be
more.
here?
Okay.
What?
Is Lynn going to be with us Saturday?
This Saturday, yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she's saying next Saturday.
Next
Okay.
Saturday, the
So,
second.
all right. Good
All right,
plug
don't
for
forget
Lynn.
some pictures.
Rich, any last goodbyes before we sign off?
No, I'll just say goodbye one more time.
Short and sweet.
Goodbye.
Charlie, what the heck was going on when I was talking to Lynn? Your phone was like upside down.
My right there, my dog.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if Judy was mad because you put her on live and she slapped the phone
No.
off your.
The dog knocked everything over here.
All right, fair enough. Any last goodbyes, Charlie? We're gonna get out of here.
Goodbye, everybody, and I'm anxious for Saturday. We have that new spot to go to.
Oh,
Yeah.
all
I'm
right.
excited.
All right, Dougie, last goodbyes.
Yes. Good night, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you again, Merrill, for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Doug and I may or may not be doing one next Thursday, but we will be back in 2 weeks with Mike from Great Finds going over some of his incredible detecting finds. It should be a fun one. And, of course, we'll have a video each and every Tuesday. But, hey, otherwise, thank you for watching, everybody. Happy hunting, and we will all see you on the next one. Later.
So long.
The heck is that noise?